The Sports Gambling Podcast is presented by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie.ag is the official online sportsbook of the Sports Gambling Podcast. Use the promo code SGP100 for a 100% deposit bonus. We're also brought to you by Odds Shark. They have the latest betting stats and trends you won't find anywhere else, plus free picks from their supercomputer and expert writing staff. Follow them on Twitter at OddsShark and www.oddsshark.com. We're also brought to you by BetQL. BetQL is the only app that puts all the knowledge you need to make smart bets in the palm of your hand. Log on to betql.co to download the app today. Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, real money Kramer.
Sorry, Sean.
Perfect. On time. Just like always.
Just trying to bring back some mojo. 0-3 in my locks.
Oh my God.
I don't want to bury the lead.
What? Did I hit my lock in both the NFL and college? Again, my locks 2-1. My dogs 2-1. The rest of my picks complete dog shit. I've been distracted, Ryan.
I was gonna say important to hit your locks and dogs when you're going 43%.
Well, listen, if I had a lot on my mind, getting this wedding going, and I said to myself, I looked at myself in the mirror. I said, Sean, there's one thing you got to do. There's one thing you got to deliver to the listeners, and that is stone cold, ice cold, super hard locks. So
hard locks.
Long cocks.
So I was able to deliver that. The rest of my picks have been off. I had a decent week 1, distracted week 2 and 3, admittedly. Yeah. I had to get my head straight, much like Everson Griffin.
Yes, please.
I was just laughing because we were talking about it earlier in the podcast. The Vikings defensive end, Everson Griffin, apparently was like kind of just going crazy and yelling at people at work. And then before the Bills game,
when you mean work, you mean on a football team?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Okay.
Not like doesn't have a part-time job, but yeah. And they told him, he sent him a letter and basically said, "You're not playing Sunday. You got to go home and get your head straight." And then he still showed up Saturday for practice, and they sent him home again. And then it looks like he's kind of gone crazy. So.
It's that University of Southern California education. He just can't handle himself.
I'm sure everyone's gonna say, "Oh, it's the concussions. Oh, it's gotta be CTE," or it could just be a crazed maniac that already had so much testosterone and he didn't feel good about the tie against the Packers. He was really upset, and then he was just started yelling a lot because that's what crazed maniac football players do. It could have been that, right?
Or maybe it's the new rule. Maybe it's the new roughing the passer. He lost his mind.
He literally that is the NFL had no idea the impact on mental health that this new rule would have. Did you see the Dolphins player who blew out his ACL trying not to put his full body weight on the quarterback?
I mean, look, Sean, it's not our business to get in the way of the NFL and its grand plans, but what the fuck are they doing? Like you can't, like, the fact that they're doubling down and like defending it. What am I missing?
It's so crazy. Listen, NFL, mistakes are made. It's okay. You can admit when you made a mistake. I admittedly had some wrong picks. I'm not going to come on here like some stupid fucking tout and just rattle off that I'm a sports investment service and I'm paying my clients out left and right. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say, Hey, I messed up these picks. I'm going to have some better picks this week, but, and yes, admittedly I did give you out some locks and some dogs. So I did make you some money with that, but I'm not going to live in this crazy world of denial. I'm going to adjust my strategy. It's insane that the NFL refuses to see when they fucked up. It's just classic NFL.
Well, Sean, I mean, all right. So do they change the rule?
Yeah, they got to change it. Or what they'll quietly do is
how many weeks over under?
They'll stop enforcing it in the next few weeks. They'll slowly stop enforcing it, and then they'll adjust the rule in the offseason.
That's my prediction. Goodell's like Trump, but instead of watching Fox and Friends, it's that Good Morning Football, and he's probably like, God damn it, I can't take it. This Nate Washington is killing me on Good Morning Football. He's so charismatic.
It's great.
Sean, he also speaks so well.
It's funny that we live in a world where the NFL commissioner realizes it's probably not a good idea to have a Twitter account, and because he doesn't want to put out controversial stuff.
Yeah,
he realized.
Would you make that swap right now? Trump for Goodell to run the country.
Hey, listen, hey, they're both. The economy's doing great for both. So there you go, Ryan. Ah, man, so much to get to. So, Ryan, we got to talk. The free roll football contest. Free roll football contest. We're giving away cold hard cash, a giant pile that grows bigger each week as every person that signs up $1 is thrown into the pot. You can enter your picks over at contest.sportsgamblingpodcast.com. That's contest.sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Each week we'll be giving away free merch, free swag for the weekly winner. This weekly winner, David Kingston. David Kingston, you just won some sweet stuff, either a SGP shirt, a hoodie, a baby whale shirt. Hit us up, contest@sportsgamblingpodcast.com to claim your prize. Ryan, what has the prize pool gotten up to? Oh, and a quick reminder, free roll football contest brought to you by our good pals over at Odds Shark. That's right, oddsshark.com. Data-driven editorial betting content. And of course, the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, home to Inside Vegas and the EPL show and the college experience. Kramer, please announce, what is the prize pool shot up to?
First of all, wow, soccer in the second spot. Pretty interesting there. 827 people who have made a pick, Sean.
Yes. So 827 plus 2,500.
I really thought it was going to get to 1,000.
3327 that we are giving away in cold hard cash. Just ringing it up. Ka-ching, ka-ching.
Do you want an update on the standings?
Sure. Throw it out there.
First of all, we should point out David Kingston with a spectacular day. 14-2, losing only with the Chargers and the 49ers. No tiebreaker needed. And it appears he may be an Australian, Sean. Maybe our first acknowledged Australian listener.
Gus Johnson feels super excited about the Australians.
I like Australia. It's an island full of real men. Play a lot of rugby down there, some footy. Anyway, season long standing, Sean. Let's see. What am I going to do? I'll do the top 3 today because we got a 4-way tie for third place. In third place, AJ Greenbacks, Mayfield D's Nuts, Mike McGannon, and Sean Parr, all with 32, and tied for first with 33 points. Try the Veal, and this is an old time guy. He's a regular on the leaderboard. Bart Kukula. I feel like he cashed last year, Sean.
Yeah, he does sound familiar.
And just for the record, we're gonna have to do a quick search to see. Still no Adrian Peterson. So we're definitely
lost him, Ryan.
Definitely,
which is ironic because Adrian Peterson is having a career resurgence. I think he had 20 carries for 120 yards.
Couple other names that popped out a little higher on the leaderboard. The Belichick is in the mail. Thought you might like that, Sean.
It's a baby fucking wheel, man.
Frank Gore's big black balls. Not very creative, but that works. And I think I threw this one out last week, but shiny boxes.
Ooh.
Anyway,
I'll go home and get your fucking shine box.
Eat my Cecil shorts in 52nd. Tied with Sean. You're gonna like this one. It's not Adrian Peterson, but AP making skin red. It needs work, but I like the premise.
Yeah, where your head's at is great. It's Yeah, maybe we can workshop that one. But solid names all around.
Yeah, and also tied in 52nd place, friend of the podcast, Ruben.
Oh, okay.
Uncle Ruben.
Uncle Rube. Shout out to Uncle Rubes. Bronco fan. Fortunately, they couldn't come out. You know, they were my dog last week. Couldn't come through. Broke my 2-0 dog streak. Was looking to connect 3-0. All right, Ryan. Where to get to? I guess we can break down the games.
Sorry, Sean. One more. 80th place, boner in the sweatpants. You definitely are gonna like that one. As a fan of wearing sweatpants and gym shorts to the strip club. Allegedly.
As a huge sweatpant advocate, Ryan, I can't wait to talk about our sponsor, which involves some sweatpants. But we'll be I'm teasing the sponsor read. That's how excited I am, Ryan. And Gus Johnson. Oh no! Okay, where do we get? I feel like.
Where do we?
Should we talk about the wedding?
I got married. Should talk about the wedding.
I got married on Saturday, and let's see what were some highlights. Well, we watched. You
being really stressed out, looking during the rehearsal.
Everyone kept coming up to me and going, "Oh, you nervous? You stressed out?" Yep. What else are you supposed to say? It's a super stressful thing.
I mean, all right, we get out there for the rehearsal, and you look like you have 10 grand on a game, and you're laying 7, and your team's up 10, and the team's driving with a minute 30 to go.
There was it just felt like a looming backdoor cover the entire time.
And then the rehearsal, like we had spoken off air a little bit about the logistics around the planning of the wedding and how maybe they weren't going as efficiently and to your liking. And watching it in action, holy shit! Yeah, it felt like me and your buddy, some of your high school buddies, were like, yeah, this is like a 8-point underdog winning outright.
So wait, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? That it all
thought
came
the planning. I thought it came together better than it could have. It was perfect. It was the Bills beating the Vikings 27-6.
Huge dog. Didn't seem like it would come. Well,
I wouldn't say it was that big of a dog, but I definitely thought the the person facilitating the planning, I would have had a physical altercation with if I were you.
Oh, the wedding coordinator herself. Yeah, I mean. Yeah,
well, it sounds like one job, and just not really present.
Well, here's the thing: a wedding in general. Listen, as a guy who is just hoping to write checks the entire time and not be stressed out or deal with any sort of logistics.
Didn't work that way.
Yeah, I thought my game plan was just like, okay, here we're getting married. Here, I'll just cut a bunch of checks and not have to be involved. And no, you get sucked in because there's a lot of decisions. And then here's the thing. If you don't weigh in on the decision, you're an asshole who doesn't care about your own wedding. If you do weigh in on the decisions, it's why would you want to do that? That's the wrong way to go. And then you don't care about the wedding. So you're finding that balance of caring, but not caring too much that you care enough to give the wrong opinion, while also negotiating the stress of dealing with the wedding. And then also my wife, Tess, obviously did the vast majority of the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
God bless her, but also then dealing with all the stress that she has from dealing with the coordinator and everyone else. So it's just, there's no way to have a stress-free wedding unless you just do unless you just don't have a wedding. Or you have 10 people at your wedding.
Yeah.
But it all came together. Ryan was a groomsman, and we were hanging out in the house before we went outside for the wedding. Set up a streaming laptop, and then got to watch Ryan watch Virginia Tech lose outright to Old Dominion before my wedding, and then trying to talk our other buddies into this is what we want. We want it tied at half. There's going to be a juicy second half line.
I like how you're validating I told this exact story on the college.
Sorry.
No, it's fine because I didn't know.
Just given a third party.
I put a little bit of blame on our buddy Pentandy.
Yes. Our buddy Justin, longtime mush, mush, uber mush.
And your brother was in the room. So
my brother,
a lot of forces.
Quiet mush that really put the hex on the Packers. And we saw physical evidence because as soon as we left the casino to go get some food during Sunday Night Football, the Packers went on their epic comeback. But there were definitely obviously some Eagles infusion into the wedding. I got the song I came down like walked down out to the aisle or whatever too was the Eagles fight song on a harp, which was pretty awesome. Dream come true there. I thought if me hearing the harp play the Eagles fight song, I'm almost certainly meant I was dead, but that pulled off and got super hammered.
That's how you think the end is going to be?
Yeah. Go to heaven and just hear some chick in a cloud playing the Eagles fight song. I just assume that's how heaven is, Ryan.
Just Buddy Ryan in a fucking Speedo
hanging
playing the harp,
chopping cigars, setting up his 4-6 defense, just constantly blitzing. Reggie White up there sacking angels left and right.
You just walk in, Buddy Ryan's like, no me too in here, buddy.
But I mean, overall, awesome wedding. And then we went to the Ojai Inn for a couple nights, hung out there. Super, nicest hotel I've ever been to. So
you should. I mean, you should note that you did, in fact, as you've been calling for, predicting, called your shot.
Yes,
you in fact did thank Tariq Cohen. I think Tariq Cohen, Carson Wentz, and the Eagles defense. Maybe Zach Ertz got in there.
Ertz got a shout out. Well, because I did a little speech. I mean, obviously we wrote our own vows for the ceremony, and then I did a little speech closing out kind of the reception part, and talked about winning $200,000, having a sweet ass truck, and then ended with some sentimental stuff.
I mean, the speeches were they were solid. There were a couple duds, there were a couple good ones, but it was kind of a strange vibe because I feel like there were you guys are both comics, a lot of comics in the crowd, and there was a certain buzz, Sean, after you finished up. Crushed it.
Well, sweet. Thanks,
Crushed
man.
it.
Yeah, and it was just great night.
Like
overall.
It was quiet when you were talking. It was not quiet the rest of the night,
Well, listen, I mean, you headline your own wedding, you're not going to bomb, but
no, it worked. And then there was the Eagles chant.
No, of course. There were definitely a bunch of Eagles chants, Eagles references, and and then the following night, because the place we stayed at, it was like a big house, and then me and my wife stayed over there at the house, just us two. It was awesome to just have the mansion kind of by ourselves, and yeah, it was wedding night was pretty awesome. And then
a lot of places to ejaculate in that house.
Logistically, it
was like the house in Clue, kind of.
Yeah, it had a Clue vibe. We hung out in the study before the wedding, and I'd never been in the study. I'd been in study hall, but never a study. And then the following morning, got to watch the Eagles. My uncles came over and we watched the game. Of course, would have been a bad omen if the Eagles didn't win, but they didn't cover the 6. So my dad was disappointed at that.
Oh, that's the other thing. I got to meet your uncle Danny. This really put the rest. I mean, it put everything together for me.
Yeah. He's basically a clone of my dad.
He's the linchpin of the family, clearly.
But my dad had some money over at our sponsor, Ryan, because he is
yeah. He multiple times was like trying to strike up a cryptocurrency conversation with me.
Well, because I told him, I go, Dad, if you're heading over to mybookie.ag, first off, I already set him up. I got him the sweet 100% deposit bonus using that promo code SGP100. And then I'm telling my dad, I go, listen, you're going mybookie.ag. You want to make things easy on yourself, deposit and withdrawal with cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, whatever. We actually have a blog. You can just Google it, betting with Bitcoin, sportsgamblingpodcast.com. We kind of walk you through the steps. Listen, they're not paying us. I mean, obviously MyBookie is a sponsor, but Coinbase is basically like a Venmo app for cryptocurrency. Makes it super easy to deposit and most importantly, withdraw. Because listen, you're going to be logging on to mybookie.ag. You're going to be cashing sweet bets. You're going to be hitting on those props, player props, live in-game wagering. You're going to be doing it all. You're going to want to get that cash easily, quickly, and fastly. Play, win, and get paid over at mybookie.ag. Promo code SGP100. Ryan, straight 100, as the kids say.
Huh?
Straight 100. All right, let's rattle through week 3 because I got to cleanse the palate. You get the week 4. Jets 17. Browns 21. This was a nightmare. Jets were up 14-3. I had the Jets catching 3. You had Ryan, you smartly picked the Cleveland Browns because, as you said before the podcast, you knew that Tyrod Taylor was going to get knocked out of the game and that the Browns are going to come back with it.
It was like WWE. He grabbed his back.
Of course.
I mean, how good did Baker Mayfield look?
Well, and not to come back and toot my horn too hard, but I said Baker Mayfield is a guy who's going to run around, make some plays, and pull some games out of his ass. I don't know what he's going to be like long term as a quarterback. I have more questions for Mayfield. I don't know if he's going to be able to consistently do it, but a guy like that can run around, scramble, make stuff with his plays, just kind of have a little bit of swag and is able to put the ball downfield, which Tyrod was too hesitant and didn't force the ball downfield enough. So I think this was the best case for Cleveland because I don't know what sort of plan or schedule what were they waiting on putting in Baker Mayfield?
I think they were waiting on Hugh to watch the tape. Why? I get it. You don't want to say right now I'm starting Baker Mayfield, but do you realize how stupid you sound? I have to watch. What tape do you have to watch? That you sucked and then the quarterback got hurt and you were great.
Here's what you do.
The team was stoked. The fans were stoked.
You look over to your pile of tapes and there are 2 tapes in the past 2.5 seasons that have a little W next to them. And you put in one of those has your quarterback currently on the roster. And that's the one you play. Hugh, God, if they had a decent coach, this talent, they could be like a 9-win team.
Like in 2 years when they have a new coach and they're like the new Jacksonville Jaguars, maybe better. Baker Mayfield looks, I'm going to say this. I'll say this right now. Baker Mayfield looks better than Blake. Like his ceiling is definitely higher than Blake Bortles.
Yes.
Is that that's not really a hot take, but I'm going to throw that out there.
Oh, hot.
Kramer.
What?
Eagles 20, Colts 16. Apparently the spread's not dead because it cost me a cover here. I had the Eagles laying the points. You had the Colts catching 6.5. Carson Wentz, Ryan, he looked really good. I mean, there was a little rust in the second half. He made a couple un-Carson like plays, but to me, it was more about could he move around the pocket with his knees and make plays with his leg, and he passed both those. And the fact that he came down and had that game-winning drive showed me that Carson Wentz is back. And this defense at home just doesn't let up 17 points. They just don't. So factor that into your handicapping because week after week, this Eagles defense, you look at yardage, not great. You look at some of the other factors, not great. But red zone defense in particular, this defense is amazing. And I think, listen, now that the Eagles are going to be getting some of their weapons back.
Which weapon is that?
J.J. Darren Sproles, Alshon Jeffrey.
Darren, when's Jeffrey coming back?
This week.
Is he?
I mean, he's been cleared for contact. Now he hasn't been they didn't officially say he's going to play yet, but I don't see how he doesn't play. He was listed as questionable for this game. So I think the fact that he's cleared for contact. Also, I did tweet a video at Pro Football Doctrine. I don't know if I've heard back yet of a zoomed in video of him and his knees and
let it go, bro.
Sweet bend that he had. I'm not gonna let anything go.
He took a lot of hits.
Yeah,
he didn't look great. And this is a classic Eagles home win. He looked
really good.
The Colts aren't that good. I don't think the Colts are very good.
Well, they beat a Washington team that beat the Packers.
Maybe.
And they also were one drive away from beating the Bengals.
Sean, we got a very negative. Well, not a negative, but we got a 4-star instead of 5-star
review because of my blatant homerism.
Your disgusting, blatant homerism.
Well, here's the thing, right? Do you want me to? Would the audience rather me be like, I don't know, say Robert Mays and pretend that I don't have this passion? I'm an honest man. If you want me to be dishonest and say things that aren't truthful to me, that Carson Wentz looked like shit or that the Eagles are bad, I can't say that. And also, when the Eagles suck, I say they suck. This Eagles team doesn't suck. Yeah, the offense doesn't look 100% yet, but this is a classic win ugly at home situation. I don't think that's
exactly
crazy homerism. And also the guy's name is Baby Flipping Whale. Obviously he's a Patriots fan. He's pissed that the Pats and Brady are 1-3 in their past 4 games. He's ashamed that fucking Nick Foles took him to school in the Super Bowl. So yeah, I get it. He's pissed. He's going to give me a 4-star review. That's fine. Bengals 21, Panthers 31. I took the Bengals getting the points because I kind of like I kind of like the long rest for them there. You had the Panthers -3. Not a lot to take away from here except Christian McCaffrey looking good, man. I mean, he's almost a must start in DFS, and they just keep finding new ways to get him the ball. I don't know. I'm still just not in love with Carolina, but I don't know. Maybe they are a decent team.
I mean, I think this was just a spot, right? Like this was just a situation where Cincinnati non-conference road game, Carolina, they tend to play pretty well at home. Yeah. And I think both these teams are kind of, if it was the other way, you might take Cincinnati.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't, I didn't feel strong about this game.
See, we only talked for like 60 seconds about that game, and you spent like 8 minutes on the Eagles. I think that's the homerism he speaks.
Okay.
Of.
Well, I mean, listen, I guess I shade towards Super Bowl champions, but that's just me. Jags 6, Tennessee 9. God damn it. This Tennessee team, we should have seen this coming because Jags were coming off their we both had the Jags. They were coming off their Super Bowl victory against the New England Pats. And
it's annoying how obvious it was.
Yeah. In hindsight, super obvious. I think what I was fading was that Tennessee also just kind of pulled a game out of their ass. So now Tennessee has back-to-back games that they kind of pulled out of their ass. And now they go up against the Eagles. So
great time to play them.
Indeed. And again, I mean, as much as we want to flip the switch and not say God hates Jags and not be just, talking shit about Bortles all day, I got to see him have like multiple good games back to back, right? Like give me 3 games, give me an offensive player of the month, Blake Bortles, something.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, they 6 points with that defense.
Saints 43, Falcons 37. Again, pseudo home game for the Saints because it was in the dome. New Orleans got right. We were both on the Saints there. I mean, I'm pissed I didn't make this like a dog play or something because it just felt like a good spot, a good time to fade the Falcons. Again, the Falcons are just like the Redskins in that they're very just hot and cold, win one, lose one. They're very predictably on and off. And maybe this is New Orleans getting right. Obviously their defense still has a bunch of questions, but I mean, Drew Brees is on fire.
Well, if neither team's going to play defense, I'm going to favor the Saints every time, right? Like that's easy. I do enjoy how they run this mobile quarterback out there and run these gadget plays.
It's fun. And
guess what they get back? Like their weakness has been their ability to really run the ball in a physical way without Mark Ingram, and he comes back in a week. So
I think that even makes Kamara more valuable because we kind of saw what he was like without Ingram, and I think this will just create more opportunities for him.
And much like you spoke about the Titans, I'm not upset to be playing the Saints this week.
Yeah. Broncos 14, Baltimore 27. I had the Broncos here. You had the Ravens. Should have seen this coming. I think just the 5 scared me.
So obvious.
Bad situation. And this was the classic. Denver finally gets out of their home games, goes on the road. They're not really a great team. And I mean, not a super compelling win for Baltimore, but to me, this was just more situationally a bad spot for the Broncos.
Baltimore also a strong home team.
Yeah.
Like I told you. Should have listened to me, Sean.
I should have. And another one, Ryan. Giants 27, Houston 22.
Should have made it my dog.
I had the Texans laying the number. The Texans just are not right. And Shermer and Eli figured out a way to put up some points finally.
I mean, I think I said why. Like, what has Houston done to be deserving of a 6.5 point spread? Come on, that team is garbage. Is Bill O'Brien the first coach to be fired? He is.
He's moved on to the odds-on favorite. I don't know if you could have a chance to look up over at mybookie.ag if they got odds, but I'm pretty sure he's the leading candidate right now. And a guy that probably should be second, Ryan, is Oakland Raiders head coach John Gruden. Again, 0-3 for the Grudster. Miami 28, Oakland 20. My lock, Miami -3. You were also on the Fins here, -3. We've seen it, and not only is it a good opportunity to fade the Raiders, but more specifically, Oakland's second half is crazy. I think they've been leading into the fourth quarter in all three of those games, and it just shows he has no ability to adjust, no ability to coach Carr up in any sort of game management, undisciplined, not good play calling. I mean, some of the stuff they were running near the goal line. This is just a poorly coached team, and there was some talent on this Raiders team. Bad times if you're a Raiders fan, right?
I mean, shame on you if you were one of the people trying to convince yourself that this is a great spot to take Oakland. Miami 2-0. No, it's in Miami. It's hot.
Yeah.
And you know what the most important trend is? John Gruden. Come on.
Long cocks.
All right. I mean, I'm a little disappointed that I haven't been on the Kansas City and the Rams wave. But I have been on the going against John Gruden wave, and granted he did cover 2 weeks ago, but he doesn't.
That's what I'm saying. It's not going to work. Second half.
It's not going to work.
Just wait for that in-game wagering. Head over to mybookie.ag. Whatever the scores, especially if they're up. If they're down, maybe the line wouldn't suggest any value.
And speaking of those Dolphins, over at mybookie.ag. Will the Miami Dolphins go 16-0? Yes, plus 2,400. Another one. Will the Houston Texans go 0-16 plus 1,100?
Wow,
that's
no way they go. I mean, I don't like either of those bets, but I would actually take the Dolphins over the Texans. Both pretty insane. Packers 17, Skins 31. You had the Packers. I had the Skins. Listen, again, just bounce back spot for the Skins. Green Bay, extremely fraudulent. Their defense, the Packers defense is horrible. And more importantly, Aaron Rodgers' knee, just not right. He can only do so much.
I had a 6-team parlay, Sean, and I swapped out New Orleans because I had it in too much stuff for Green Bay.
No.
5 out of 6.
Oh no.
Just really, I mean, between that and just not a great day.
Not a great day, Ryan. Well, you know, it was a great day. It was a great day in Buffalo because the Buffalo Bills went into Minnesota as a 17-point dog. They won outright 27-6. Buffalo catching the 17, which I took. Our guest on the podcast, Craig Shoemaker, made it his lock. The Vikings money line at -1,500.
That couldn't that couldn't have been funnier.
Ryan, you're on the Vikings, but a lot of people were. This was actually a no. I think it was like no dog over 14 points, won outright by more than like 7.5 points all time. It's some sort of since 1982.
This is also the first game in like 23 years of a dog this large to have won outright. Like,
I listen. I'll be honest.
What the fuck?
I think the lines makers also have had trouble these first few weeks getting a handle on these games. I mean, with the new roughing the quarterback rules, with just the way injuries are going down, and just
passing in general.
Yeah, I think it's just it's taking a little while for sharps like ourselves to get a handle on the league, right?
Wow.
49ers 27, Chiefs 38. We both had Jimmy G, and oh no, Ryan.
Oh my God.
Jimmy G blew out his ACL. I think listen,
Sean,
I'm not going to say we were on the right side of the number, but I think if he played the whole game, didn't blow his ACL out, there was certainly a great backdoor opportunity for Jimmy G, which seems like, maybe he's a fan of that from his dating history, but man, tough break for the 49ers because they weren't great when they had Jimmy G, and now it is just pack up the season, huh?
Sean, would you mind hitting that cash register over there?
Oh, we're talking
San
49ers
Francisco
under?
49ers under 8.5 wins.
Oh man.
Can we cash that right now?
Yeah.
Can we call that a win?
Take that over to Prop Swap or whatever and cash that out.
Lock it up.
You should get. You should basically get a ticket price.
While I'm staring at my sweet futures, Oakland Raiders under 8 wins. Also, can we lock that one up?
Well, Ryan, I'm going to add to it. Dallas Cowboys under 8.5.
You see the stat on Dak Prescott?
He hasn't thrown past 3 games. Hasn't thrown over 185 yards. How do you not? In the way the league is put together, I could throw for 190. Give me a fucking.
Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
You're telling me I couldn't lace it up and throw for 190? Come on.
Odds. So Jason Garrett or Bill O'Brien?
I mean, Jason Garrett. There's clearly some sort of weird.
What do you think it is?
I don't know. I don't know, Ryan. He's got some photos or some sort of weird thing is going on where he's just unfireable. Bill O'Brien feels very fireable to me.
Goat fucking.
Yeah. Listen, whatever Jerry Jones is into, Jason Garrett has photos of. Rams 35, Chargers 23.
San Diego Superchargers charge.
We both had the Chargers catching 7.5, and
God damn it, they should have covered this game.
They should have. It was 35-20. Well, first off, they missed an extra point, so that threw everything off schedule. So let's say theoretically it should have been 35-21, and they should have went for it instead of kicking a field goal with 8 minutes and 4th down. Like, why? You need 2 touchdowns. Kick a field goal. Or I mean, kick or go for it.
It's honestly like all right, you're an NFL coach, right? Like, so you're being paid a lot of money. There's only 32 of you. You're supposed to be the experts in your field.
Did Doug Peterson not teach you anything?
Yet they can't figure out basic game strategy for the game they're playing. This would be like a dude who didn't know that you could move a queen anywhere on the board playing a chess master. It's ridiculous. Hire someone. Like, you're not a good coach. It bums me out. I did it again. I got high on them. I bet on them to win the fucking division. And it's over. It's over.
It's over, Johnny. Bears 16, Arizona 14. Speaking of it, it's over, Ryan.
Sam Bradford is not a fucking franchise quarterback.
Gets benched late in the 4th quarter. Sammy Sleeves. Someone pointed this out on Twitter that he was making 18 a year last year for the Vikings, right? So a guy who couldn't finish the season because of horrible knee injuries, didn't play that great to begin with. And then he gets a raise. Imagine being horrible at your job and you keep getting raises. Yeah. Talk
to Jason
God
Garrett.
Bless this fucking country.
I mean, talk to Anthony Lynn. I don't get it. I mean, look, I don't get why you like Sam Bradford has to finish the game. You don't throw the rookie out there in that spot. Like,
it's a horrible spot. So you bring in Sam Bradford so you don't have to play the rookie too early. Then you put him in the 4th quarter
against Khalil Mack when he knows he's passing the ball.
Yeah,
you're literally letting him just tee off, like
feeding him to the dogs.
Did you see what happened to David Carr? He got PTSD like immediately.
So I had the Bears laying 6. You had the Cards catching 6. So there you go. Dallas, Seattle. Obviously, Dallas just sucks. Yeah, Seattle not great, but they took care of business 24-13. It was only a pick, so that was easy money there. And listen, just the Cowboys just can't put up points. I mean, everyone thinks we're homers, Ryan, but we laid it out the case pretty obviously in the NFC's previews. You said there's no skill players on that Dallas offense.
But Sean,
and their offensive line got worse.
God, the Giants, if they don't give that pass up to Tavon Austin, they win that game. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. Oh, and real quick, speaking of the Cowboys, some more fun props over here at mybookie.ag. Will Dez Bryant play this season? -250. Yes. I almost like to know +180. Who's signing that bum? But lastly, they could use a quarterback. No, Sean?
Agreed.
Will Colin Kaepernick play a game?
Oh yeah,
in the regular season.
Yes,
does not play as the favorite at -280.
No, he's not playing.
John Gruden led Raiders with the odds-on favorite at +650.
Oh, that would be so. Oh, the media would just be all over themselves.
Dallas Cowboys are part of the field at 7-1.
New England 10, Detroit 26. Oh man,
it's a baby fucking wheel, man.
Sad day for the Pats. Back-to-back losses. Normally, we both got on New England -7. Belichick against a former coach. Belichick coming off a loss, and Brian, is it an end?
No,
to the,
no,
to the
but
Belichick year?
fuck you, Bill Belichick.
How could you not beat Patricia?
By Matt Patricia. I don't know what else to say, so I guess I'll just bring up another awesome prop I just found. Will Josh Gordon pretend like he's smoking? Will he smoke the football like a blunt during the regular season? Will Josh Gordon do a puff pass touchdown celebration? Yes is plus 400. No minus 600.
And I forget, did we talk about this on the podcast? But weed is legal in Massachusetts, so that has got to be the worst case scenario. So you're going to move me out of Cleveland, Ohio,
where there's nothing to do, and I'm ruining my life by smoking weed. And then you're going to put me on, a decent football team where weed is legal. Well, what a punishment! Tom Brady's got that trainer. He's going to get straightened out. Final game of the week: Steelers 30, Bucks 27. I had the Bucks. You had the Steelers. End of the Fitzmagic. Fitzmagic no more. Steelers finally kind of got their shit together a little bit, but still a bit shaky, Ryan. Still a bit shaky. Yeah. I don't know. This was. I don't think this tells you much about Pittsburgh. I don't think Tampa's very good. I think they're this year's like fun team that's gonna. Yeah, there's always fantasy numbers. Listen, September teams and handicappers are just kind of figuring it out. It is with the way the rules and the collective bargaining agreement and everything. September is an extended preseason, so you just kind of got to. If you're a team, you got to kind of get out of there with a couple good wins, no major injuries, and then October. That's when football really starts happening. But I mean, to me, I did like the way that Ben and the receivers looked. Connor still looks solid. Will Le'Veon Bell get traded, Sean, before the deadline? October 30th. No. Yes is minus 200. No is plus 150. Give me the no. Who's going to trade for him? The favorite, the Indianapolis Colts. That would followed by the Green Bay Packers. Tennessee Titans. Don't get that one. Houston Texans. Whatever. And then a bunch, like Dallas. He's not going to Dallas. This is stupid. That's a stupid answer. Yeah. Why would Dallas get him? They already have a super dynamic offense with tons of playmakers. Yeah. I don't, who really, the Patriots? I mean, honestly, the Jets would be the team because they have a bunch of space. Would you want to go there? Well, it doesn't really matter where he wants to go at this point. But they can't trade him until he signs. Yeah, but he wants to get paid. So the Jets can pay him. Because they have Darnold still on his rookie deal for a while. I get if he does that, he just doesn't give a fuck about winning. I guess. No, why would he? Why would he care about winning? Do you care how your company does? No, that's a good point. That's a very good point. You care how? It's a little different when you play sports, though, Sean. You care when you lose at rec basketball. Yeah. So because I'm a team player. I'm not holding out for more money. I'm not like our buddy Casey quitting the team and trying to go to some super team and bailing on the group. I'm not like that, but that's the way. That's it is the kind a strange of character maneuver. I am. A strange character. That's the kind of character I am. All right, Ryan. What do we got to do now? What do we got to do? It's what we get to do, Ryan. And that's, I'll tell you what we get to do. We get to talk about Mack Weldon. Honestly, we've had a bunch of sponsors over the years, and Mack Weldon, my favorite one, I think of all time. And no offense to any of those sponsors, but man, the clothes that they hooked us up with, insanely comfortable, right? Ryan, how many times have I talked about sweatpants on this podcast? Numerous, right? Numerous. With zipper pockets. With zipper pockets. MackWeldon.com/SGP. Or sorry, MackWeldon.com. Enter the promo code SGP. You get a 20% off your first order. These sweatpants I wore them the day after my wedding. I wore them on, we had a couple night honeymoon. I'm watching games in them. They're super comfortable. My wife is complimenting how nice I look in sweatpants. Imagine a wife complimenting you for wearing sweatpants. That's how nice these sweatpants are. They fit great. They feel great. I got a pair of the underwear. I got the t-shirt. It feels like a soft, comfortable t-shirt, but it looks sharp enough you can wear to the office. Honestly, I got to start dressing nicer, and I'm going to get what they gave us some stuff, Ryan, so we could talk about it and tell our listeners how awesome they are. But honestly, I'm going to MackWeldon.com and ordering some more. How Ryan, tell us about your clothes. I would say the boxers really, they grip the balls nicely. They're there, but they're light.
Yes, exactly.
The sweatpants, I would give a solid. I would say they're definitely not like keep you warm sweatpants.
Yeah, they're
but for
like
Southern California, A+ sweatpants, and then I got some socks. I went basics, but yeah, it was nice stuff. You know what I like about sponsors that send us stuff, Sean?
What's that?
They sent us stuff.
Yes,
So
exactly. They send us stuff. It's great stuff, high quality fabrics, the whole nine.
Because then we can talk about it.
Yeah, because then we can actually weigh in with our experiences.
Again, weed sponsors out there.
MacWeldon.com. Enter the promo code SGP. And a reminder, Ryan, that you can hear this podcast. What are we on? Google Play, iTunes, the whole nine, and of course
everything but Spotify.
Yes,
because fuck Spotify.
You can't hear us there, but you can hear us on clnsmedia.com. So check them out there and download us, obviously, wherever fine podcasts are sold. Let's get to it. Let's talk week 4 NFL picks.
All right, Sean. Thursday night football. I don't know if I brought this up on the last show, but there was an interesting trend here heard on the Sharp 600 over the podcast is for covers. 27th, 5:30 p.m. kick. Maybe the best Thursday night football game of all time before Minnesota laid an egg. Still a pretty good matchup. The Vikings head to Los Angeles where the Rams are -7.5, -330 on the money line, +265 for the Vikings. 49.5 is your total. No one will be at this game for kickoff. It's too early. I mean, so the trend was basically it's something along the lines of team traveling more than 1,500 miles. There was some time zone gimmick in there. Home team is 12-1 straight up and against the spread. Now, really was looking forward to this, thinking that the Vikings would be coming off a nice, big, juicy win against the Bills, and the spread would be something like 3.5 or 4. Well, Sean, it's not. It's fucking 7.5. And what did I tell you? This is the one close your eyes special this week. Minnesota is absolutely a close your eyes special. They underperformed the spread by like 37. Yet we were talking about this before the show, like home Thursday night teams and this Rams team just running it up. I told you I bet -6 when it opened and knowing I was taking the public side, but now it's seeing it 7.5 and probably going to continue to move with the money split 70-30. So not tremendous money differential, but this line is moving all day. Give me the Rams.
Yeah, man,
all day.
I like this spot of Minnesota catching 7.5, but I think you have to take the Rams. Talib is out. It looks like he's going to be done for a long time, possibly the season.
Kirk Cousins on the road, dude. Don't forget. Never forget.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins on the road, but I think Kirk Cousins on the road against this defense and this Minnesota defense has looked slow, and this Rams offense has looked insanely high powered. I just don't see if they had trouble stopping Josh Allen at home with that snap count and everything you can do. Now you have the short week and you got to go on the road. It's still, even though this is a bounce back spot for Minnesota, it's still a bad spot. And this Rams team, kudos to the Rams coaching staff, especially from a gambling perspective. They really keep the pedal to the metal, and they don't seem to pull up at all. I think they could really blow them out of the water here. So give me the Rams laying the big number.
No, I mean Sean McVay is he's smarter than everyone else, and he's not going to be outcoached. And they are the home team, and not to mention, Sean, I'm gonna do something I haven't done all season. I'm gonna give out a total as well.
Wow,
under. This is going to be an under game. I think this Minnesota team is going to struggle, and I think they're going to play enough defense where the Rams aren't going to put up like 35 points. So this feels like a 28-10, 28-14 type of game. So I'm definitely laying the points, but I will give you a bonus under here, John.
Okay, like it. Take a bonus.
Are you going to note this down on the sheet?
No, I'm not going to.
Jesus fucking Christ! You don't show up. You don't show up for 2 days of work. 2 days of work, and now you can't even update the sheet. Right, Sunday morning.
There you go, boss.
Sunday morning, Miami heads to New England, where the world is coming to an end in the Bill Belichick empire. New England laying a touchdown. New England would have been a close your eyes special had they been a dog this week, Sean. I don't know if that's ever happened. Maybe not even last week against the Chiefs, or last year against the Chiefs. Miami plus 240 on the money line. New England minus 300. 47.5 is the total. This is the obvious like fade the 3-0 team, right?
Oh man, you would think, right? But they're not getting respect. The 3-0 status is not factored in to the number.
3-0 against the spread. Patriots 1-2.
Right.
Belichick back-to-back losses.
We got some trends here from the buddy over at oddsshark.com. Dolphins 0-9 straight up in their last 9 games on the road versus the Patriots. Dolphins 0-6 in their last 6 games on the road against the Patriots. Not looking good.
Yeah, I'm going back to the well. Give me the pay. I don't even know, like, what's the trend? What's Belichick coming off 2 losses?
Yeah, has this ever happened?
I think he's only had back-to-back losses of double digits 3 times in his career, including this year, and they were both a long time ago. The other 2, yeah. Okay.
I guess take the Pats here. I think Gronk has a bigger game here. Miami actually struggles with the tight ends. I tweeted out my DraftKings lineup, Brian, because I was missing from the DFS preview podcast, but I threw Gronk in there. I think he could have a big game against this Miami.
We knew you were going to listen to us first and then start playing your lineup.
That's exactly what I did.
We all had Gronk.
Well, what's not to like about Gronk here at home, coming off back-to-back losses. And if you're going to go down, if the Pats are going to go 1-4, then God bless them.
All right. Right now, Rams Patriots teaser, right?
It's too easy.
Is that it?
Where does it go wrong?
That's a 100-unit max play.
Ka-ching.
Next up, 10 a.m. kick. Houston heads to Indianapolis, where Houston is a 2.5 point dog. Plus 100 on the money line. Indy minus 120. 47 is the total. Andrew Luck doesn't lose home divisional games, and this Houston team sucks. Why is this not 3.5? Yeah. What am I missing here?
I don't know. And this
don't get sorry. Last thing, Sean. Don't get excited that JJ Watt just had a bunch of sacks against the Giants' offensive line. That's not impressive.
Yeah,
it's literally one of those turnstiles.
And the Colts' offensive line wasn't that bad. They had time. They moved the ball. They just struggled in the red zone because of how good the Eagles' red zone defense is, and the Houston defense not good. I mean, listen, that Giants offense, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it, but they really put up some points. And now Houston's going on the road. I guess you could say, I guess if you're taking Houston, you're saying this is Houston's Super Bowl, but the Colts kind of have the back against the wall as well. And they're at home and they're 1-2. They can't lose this game.
Giants 27th offensive line, according to adjusted sack rate. Indy number 5. So slightly different comp there. They played a non-conference road game against the Super Bowl champs.
There you go.
In a situation where the defense always plays well to a tight game.
Back-to-back road games. They look good against that. Their defense looked good against the Redskins, and their defense showed
is this
pretty
the third?
Good.
Yeah, and now they're coming home against the team that just the coach might be a lame duck.
Yeah.
Why is this? I'm betting it right now.
It's a really good spot.
I'm betting it right now. This is an absolute wow, Sean. I'm seeing even -2s out there.
Woo.
This makes me nervous. It doesn't make sense.
Well, Ryan, what do they say? You gotta lay the 3.5 and take the 2.5.
Sean,
that's the only thing that scares me about this game.
John, I made this 3.5 in my power rankings. This would be at least 3.5. I don't get this at all. Next up, Cincinnati. They head to Atlanta, where Atlanta is -5, -250 on the money line, plus 200 for the Bengals. 52 is the total. Sean, I got to let you go first on this one.
It's tough because, yeah, you know what? I don't think it's that tough. Give me Atlanta -5. This Atlanta team, not horrible, and they're great coming off a loss. They really are pretty solid coming off a loss. They're not a team that's going to lose back-to-back home games. This Bengals team I thought was fraudulent to begin with. I mistakenly bought in. I doubted my own judgment on the Bengals last week. And now this is a chance to right the ship. I'm not going to be scared of the -5. This Bengals team isn't that good. Now, I think Atlanta's pretty solid, and Atlanta's offense has an ability to put up points. I don't think
12th in DVOA on offense.
I just don't think a back-to-back non-conference road game like we saw with the Colts. I don't think it's going to be a good situation for this Bengals team.
That's the part of this I don't like. It's horrible. It's a horrible spot. Back-to-back road games going into a dome where I guess you might argue if AJ Green's playing, which it sounds like he's going to, that since he is kind of one of those teams that may look good on a dome or on the turf. So they certainly have a nice offense. I think there's some questions on defense. Does Burfict come back this week or is it next?
I can look that up
because he's an impact guy, right?
Yeah.
I think. Oh no,
Joe Mixon,
4 game.
Joe Mixon remains sideline at Wednesday's practice. So it sounded like he was out there. He was on a stationary bike. So if he goes, I don't think he will be 100%. And that seems to really impact their offense. I know the transitive property doesn't apply to the NFL. We just talked about how Cincy and Carolina felt like they're comparable teams in a home versus a road situation. And we saw Atlanta play Carolina and they were favored by 6. And now we see Cincinnati coming to town and they're only 5. To me, that feels a little off. While I do like this I think people are a little high on this Bengals team too. So I'll fade, and it's scary to me because Steve Sarkisian and his inability to use the running game, 30th in the run, according to DVOA. But they're putting up points this year.
But I like the fact that since he can't really rush the passer, so give me the chalk as well. 4 straight favorites so far, Sean.
Chalk.
This is dirty.
Well, it's bound to change.
Next up, Buffalo heads to Green Bay, where Green Bay's -10, -425 on the money line.
What the fuck?
I obviously wrote this money line in wrong, Sean. I'll get back to it. 43.5 is the total.
But Bills aren't +130 as you have listed.
They're not +130.
They should be because it's going to be a close game.
+325. What are you doing? They just had their Super Bowl. But the Packers back-to-back non-conference games.
Have you looked at his?
You just used that.
Yeah, but this is 10 points. This is 10 points. Josh Allen is one of the greatest. A guy who just chucks it up against this Green Bay defense. He is a guy that if they get up 20, they can still backdoor this because Green Bay has no passing defense and Buffalo just doesn't give a fuck.
Wait, what is this Buffalo? Buffalo is the worst team on the planet.
No, Arizona's the worst team on the planet. Buffalo's going to cover 10 points, man. Give me a double-digit dog any day of the week in the National Football League, except maybe the 49ers.
I don't know. I think you're overreacting to the fact that Buffalo just played this fluky game against Minnesota, who had just had to send a crazy dude home.
Yes, but I'm not taking them outright to win. I think I'm reacting as a person should for a Green Bay team that let the Vikings do whatever they want on offense. Let Mitch Trubisky look like fucking Joe Namath. He
looks so bad.
They let Alex Smith put up 31 points. This is not a good defense. And Andrew, Aaron Rodgers' knee seems to be getting worse. It doesn't seem to be getting better.
Yeah, kids. Fourth start heading to, or not even third start heading to Lambeau. No, coming off a game where he's reading about himself, eyes really close together. Sean, you know what that means? He's definitely hearing all of it. He's feeling himself, and now people are talking about Josh Allen and not. It's wow. Josh Allen had a great game. What's wrong with Aaron Rodgers? You think Aaron Rodgers wants to lose to a guy with eyes that close together? Absolutely not. This is a blowout potential. 31-10, Sean. That's what I'm calling for here. Give me Green Bay. Let's continue. 5 straight favorites. Next up.
Come on, you got to have one dog, Ryan. You got to see something here.
Not yet. Maybe soon. Sean, 10 a.m. Another 10 a.m. kick. The Lions, they head down to Big D.
Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
Where Dallas is a 3-point favorite, minus 160 on the money line. Detroit plus 130, 43.5 is the total. Hallelujah. Now, granted, this was a little bit of a Super Bowl game here. There is less a little rest disparity here.
This is the Monday night, but Dallas just can't put up points. They just can't. And
but isn't this when you play Dallas?
Yeah, but I can't play Dallas around in good faith. I can't play Dallas.
Number 1 rushing offense, number 29 passing offense.
Well, and Detroit finally had a 100-yard rusher first time in however many years.
Kerryon Johnson looks nice.
He does. I got him in a couple fantasy teams.
Oh, look at you, Sean.
Yeah, but season long's kind of dog shit.
Guess who can't stop the run, Sean?
Dallas,
Detroit.
All right. Yeah, if you want to take Dallas,
I would say
make your 6th straight favorite. Go for it.
No, I do think we have to get back to Matt Stafford beats bad teams, which I guess brings up the question of maybe the Patriots are done.
Yeah. And Ryan, and
Detroit
also
has a nice pass rush.
This is where you play the under 43.5. I think this is going to be like a 17-10.
As Christian Pina of Inside Vegas on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network has been pointing out.
Yes.
Dallas is now 6-0 if you've bet the first half and full game unders.
They can't put up points. They just can't put up points. I don't know how they have Ryan, what is their one win?
The Giants.
Oh, okay. So yeah, they can beat horrible teams.
I'm going to take Stafford beats bad teams, although I don't like the matchup of this run defense against. Honestly, they kind of look good against the Patriots, so I'll be curious. I feel like Patricia can scheme up against a quarterback that can't throw the ball. As silly as that sounds, and as much as we made fun of him, he kind of did that against the Patriots. They double teamed Gronk and just loaded up against the run. Receivers couldn't get separation. I could see them doing that to the Cowboys. So let's fade them, Sean. I got to take a dog, and I'm not taking the Cowboys.
There you go.
Next up, the Jets head down to Florida to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are laying 7.5 points, minus 385 on the money line, plus 300 for the Jets. 38.5 is the total. That feels stupid low. I would almost just blindly take that over. Like, yeah, right. Like that's the Jags have not been lights out.
No,
I mean they've been good, really good, but I feel like the Jets could put up 14 in this game.
Yeah, they could. I'll take the Jets here. I'll take the dog catching 7.5.
They randomly show up with those games where they just pound the rock and Bilal Powell and
Anunwa,
the dude with the dreads.
Darnold do Anunwa, and they have long rest. I just don't think this Jags team. To me, we took the big favorite in the Rams, right? Because this Rams offense is a team that puts the pedal to the metal and really blows teams out. Now the Jags could get you a defensive touchdown, and that could be ultimately what makes it a 2-score difference. But as is 7.5, I think you got to go Jets here.
I would say that I don't think the Jags have a decided edge with the pass rush versus the Jets offensive line, which is generally something different. Meanwhile,
Ryan, fun little note: Jets are 4-0 straight up in their last 4 games versus the Jaguars, courtesy of OddsShark.com.
Okay.
And they're also 6-0, the Jets, ATS in their last 6 games after consecutive ATS losses. So I think that kind of speaks to the trend of this Jets team in general in the Todd Bowles era, where if they look bad for a little while, they pull it out enough to make you think they're decent. And I think this is that situation.
I'm going to take a cover here. I think Todd Bowles is enough for me to not lay 7.5. Like, Bortles isn't. They're not going to pull out all the tricks like they're playing the Patriots. And 7.5 points is. We're back to that. 7.5 is too many for Blake Bortles.
Yeah, it's just that offense. They haven't figured it out.
Next up, Sean, another 10 a.m. kick. Tampa Bay heads to Chicago, where the Bears are laying 3, minus 165 on the money line. Tampa Bay plus 140. I assume they're starting Fitzmagic. 40
is that assumed?
46.5 is the total. Goddamn, Mitch Trubisky is garbage. I just don't know how you can bet on this dude. Like, right?
It's a weird scenario because
their defense got so good so fast. They have the best pass rush in the league.
do you take Fitzmagic on the road against this Bears defense, or do you bet on Mitch Trubisky?
No.
Either one of those scenarios are not ideal, because it did feel like a little bit of the Fitzmagic wore off, but
it was a couple plays though. It wasn't like, and they almost won the game.
Here's what I'm going to say. Tampa Bay still has a lot of offensive playmakers that are making big time plays. And Gerald McCoy's having a decent season. I think I got to go Tampa Bay +3 here. This Bears team is too weird and not well coached enough yet.
I don't know what to think about this game, because on one hand, I don't like Cutter, whatever it is, and on the other, Nagy is slowly. I think he's like Ben McAdoo light. I think we're gonna find out that this dude is like, he can't adjust. He clearly has issues. Like, why are you able to score these points right away and then that's it? Like, is it really possible to be that good at like preparing and then have no idea what to do once you're in the moment? I just don't get it. So I'm also gonna take the dog. And for me, it just comes down to I'm not at the point where I feel good about taking Trubisky as a favorite. Is that a fair statement? Like the defense will play good at home.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna take the dog here because I'd rather just Trubisky's garbage. Last 10 a.m. kick, Philadelphia heads to Tennessee, where Philly's a 4.5 point road favorite, -195 on the money line, +165 for the Titans. 41's the total. Sean, who's playing quarterback for the Titans this week?
Carson. Oh, sorry. That does it matter? I mean, Blaine Gabbert.
I feel like it kind of matters.
How so?
We should share that information with our listeners.
But I mean, how does it affect who they're going to bet on?
Maybe they want to. I don't know. Start that person in fantasy against the very flawed Philadelphia Eagles.
It does seem like
this
it
offense
does seem like he's going to be starting Marcus Mariota.
20 points against the Colts at home is not like oh shit, everything's great.
Well, yeah,
Carson Wentz is back. The offensive line let him get hit. He had a sack fumble.
I think some of that was him holding on to the ball too long. It was
that's his game.
It was also pouring down rain, and they were also missing a number of playmakers that will be coming back this Sunday. So I think it not being rainy and slippery conditions, it's going to be 84 degrees and sunny.
84 with humidity.
Yeah.
And hope they're ready. Hope they're ready.
So do I. But also, I do think having Alshon Jeffrey back, Darren Sproles, and Jay will help the flow of the offense. What I did like, what I saw about the Eagles last week was they got Dallas Goedert involved, and they got the 2 tight end stuff going. So listen, I think they returned to form. I guess listen, Tennessee has been defying my expectations all season. I thought they were a really bad team.
7-1 in their last 8 games at home, straight up.
But kudos to Vrabel. Kudos to Vrabel for like rallying this team. I mean, I was anti-Titans beginning of the season, top to bottom, and because I thought Marcus Mariota sucked, and I've been dead right about that prediction of him sucking. However, Blaine Gabbert coming in and pulling out gutsy wins. This Tennessee team could just kind of be a slightly better version of the Bills last year, where it doesn't really matter what the quarterback does. They just kind of find ways to eke out wins and pull things off. So,
well, I certainly think they're going to struggle this week.
Yeah. I think matchup wise, I really like what we can do offensively and defensively on the line. And I think I just like Carson Wentz coming back in a second game. He shook off some rust there. I think this is a good spot for the Eagles team, and it does feel kind of similar to the way the season went last year. We're 2-1 at this point. We lost the game week 2. We won week 3, a close game. You might remember it, Ryan. Jake Elliott hit a 61-yard.
95% of the money
is on the Eagles. Yeah, I mean, listen, you could make a good case for the Titans. Certainly a 4.5 point home dog, a team that's just gutting out gritty wins against this Eagles offense hasn't clicked enough that they're gonna blow you away like the Rams offense or some of these other, or the Chiefs or something like that. But I'll say this, I think I've seen enough out of the Eagles offense that went right. to warrant some optimism. So I'll take the Eagles.
And you know, you got Austin Davis, the backup. I mean, he's not 100%. Mariota could get knocked out.
Mariota can't grip the ball. That was his injury. Now he's not 100% back from that, but Blaine Gabbert is still out with the concussion. So
Austin Davis. Watch out.
I like Fletcher Cox versus Austin Davis. I'll take that matchup.
You know what? I'm going to take the home dog, Sean.
There you go.
The spread's stupid. I have to see this Philly offense do it on the road. I mean, you know, this team is just a vastly different team on the road, and I want to see this offense go with Wentz before I start laying this kind of juice on them.
And I'm getting ahead of it. You're gonna be behind it. So.
I'll be a market follower on this one. That's fine.
All right.
Next up, 105 here on the West Coast. Seattle heads to Arizona, where Seattle is -3.5. -175 on the money line, +155 for the Cardinals. 38.5 is the total. That's low. I threw him out as a potential cheap defense on the DFS pod, Sean. Arizona this week against that Seattle offensive line. Oh man, I mean, Baldwin, is he going to play? Do you have an update on that? Should I look it up?
I'll look it up.
Look, this is Arizona's pretty bad. Earl Thomas versus a rookie. Like there's certain elements here where I know Seattle on the road. I know Seattle's looked like hot garbage, but Baldwin's practicing. It's Wednesday.
Sounds like he's going to play.
If he's back, I know he's better at home as well, but I just think that's the boost that Russell Wilson needs. He needs the guy that he knows where he's going to be when he's running around for his life. And while I would caution that Arizona here is coming off a game where they're not bad on defense. Granted, they were playing Mitchell Trubisky, but this is not a bad defense.
But it's Seattle.
They have the sixth best adjusted sack rate, and I do think there's an opportunity for them to create havoc with this Seattle offensive line that can't block anyone. They are the second to worst offensive line according to adjusted sack rate. So I struggle to see why this is a good pick, but Russell Wilson's not losing to Josh Rosen, period. And this spread's not going to matter. So I'll take Earl Thomas. I don't care that he's not practicing. He's still playing.
He just does whatever the fuck he wants. Yeah. I think Arizona, to me, this is just a fade against their head coach, Stephen Wilkes. He seems lost.
He does seem like a bad coach.
He seems like a bad coach. Mike McCoy, I think, is the offensive coordinator, and I just don't see anything.
Pretty public side here. Pretty public side.
Yeah, because listen, I think Arizona's the worst team in football right now.
Fade him off a cover, Sean. Fade him off a cover.
Yeah, I mean that was their Super Bowl. I do think Seattle maybe got a little bit of the confidence back, a little bit of their swagger. I don't know. I mean, the line value alone is pretty insane. That they're, you know what? If
just pull the trigger, they're trying to.
I'll take Seattle -3.5. Although I would also say this: if there's an option to bet, will this game be tied? I think I would bet this game. Of all the games on the slate, most likely to tie Seattle, Arizona, and laying the 3.5 is scary. But it's going to be 28-7 because the Cards are just lost.
They're not playing Mitch Trubisky this week. They're playing Russell Wilson. Next up, 105, big time game. Hugh Jackson and the Cleveland Browns. It gave the game ball to the owner. Fucking what a loser franchise. They head to Oakland.
Do you frame that?
First win in 3 years.
What do you do with 2 wins? 2-31-1. Never forget.
John Gruden and the Oakland Raiders host the Cleveland Browns. Oakland is -3, -140 on the money line, +120 for the Cleveland Browns. 45 is the total. Oh my goodness. Oakland is such a public team. Such a public team. It's John Gruden. Baker Mayfield might be good. We don't know if John Gruden can coach anymore. I might do it, Sean, but they're 3-0 against the spread already. Fuck.
Who is the Browns?
Yeah.
The Browns are a covered machine. Here's the thing. I would want to fade Baker Mayfield after his coming in heroic win.
Yeah.
Unlock the beer fridges, storm the gates. We're winners. We're Cleveland.
Long rest.
Can I fade him because they got extra rest? They're playing Oakland, who's horrible. I don't know, right? I mean, does Oakland randomly show up here at home? Is this the game where Oakland gets right? John Gruden can't go on 4, can he?
So the logic would be, okay, they have time to watch tape on Mayfield. The opposite's true, right? Like they actually get to install an offense for him. He has a long week to prepare with Todd Haley, who, if you watched Hard Knocks, he was the clear adult in the room. He at least knows what he's doing. He's led good offenses before, and they have weapons, right? Njoku, Landry, Callaway, Hyde, Duke Johnson. This is a team, and then they play a little defense. Sean, I didn't want to do this, but I think I have to take the Browns.
Yeah. I think I'm also gonna.
Are they feeling themselves though? We have to pause. They did just win their first game in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that enough to just fade them? That's probably the smart move, right?
Browns coming off a straight up win. Yeah. Now that I say that aloud, Ryan, Browns coming off a straight up win, only catching 3 points.
But Oakland is bad. Dude.
I know. Give me Oakland -3. I could regret this, but
Sean, if I had a chance to pass on one game this week, this would be the game.
Yeah, but we don't pass. Passing's for pussies.
See here. This is what I'm going to say. Oakland has the 31st defense. That's not the kind of defense that's going to put fear into Baker Mayfield. And you know what does travel typically? Defense. Cleveland has defense. I'm going with them, Sean. I'm going for a 4th straight cover from the Cleveland Browns. But God bless you if you bet on this one. Next up, 125 kick. San Francisco heads to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers, where definitely will be more 49er fans in the building.
Will they? Because their savior just got crucified, Ryan.
You don't think there's a lot of Beatheart fans out there?
I just don't think 49er fans are going to show up after Jimmy G just blew out his ACL.
Well,
it's kind of a buzzkill.
So no one's going to go to the game. This is going to be awkward.
I'll take if anyone wants to set a bet on the attendance, I'll take under 16,000.
There will be extras in the audience, right? Yes, I'm calling it audience.
No, you got to call them seat fillers, Ryan. We'll stub up higher seat fillers for the Chargers 49ers extras. Game. We should do that as a hypothetical odds brought to you by Odds Shark, Ryan. What will we set the line for whether or not they're using seat fillers?
-1,000. Yes.
Okay. I like
what
that.
are you going to make it?
No, I think yes, -1,000 and no plus 700. They got to put someone in those stands.
And yet I think we're learning something about this Chargers team. They lose to good teams.
Yep.
They beat bad teams.
Yep.
Just like Matthew Stafford.
Yep.
Lay the points.
Yeah.
I know they don't have a great defense, but this San Francisco team is not. I mean, remember Beathard last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
-11. Lay it.
And I think I threw it out in my DraftKings lineup, but that stack of Rivers and Mike Williams, real dynamic.
It's interesting
chance for some points here,
Sean,
because this San Francisco defense has quietly struggled a bunch.
You never will guess.
And now a non-conference road game after your QB gets his ACL blown out.
It's time. I'll lay the points here. I feel like I got a little chalk. I got a little dog action, but I got to lay these 11 here. Sean, you'll never guess who I have for my quarterback this week in DraftKings. Great matchup. Eli Manning against the New Orleans Saints. Coming off an almost 300-yard game.
What is Eli DraftKings, like 2,800?
Like he's about the same as Luck, I think. 5,600 maybe.
Wow. I actually like Andrew Luck's line 5,600 in DraftKings against Houston.
Yeah.
All right. I need to play another lineup.
All right, Sean. I think this is America's game of the week. Interesting. New Orleans heads outdoors for the first time this season to take on the New York Football Giants. Sean, play the boat music, please.
Oh yeah, congratulations!
It's over.
It's over. The boat trip has finally docked. Odell Beckham Jr. has won a game after his infamous boat trip.
You mean just dinner cruise? And somehow the respect has not been given. The Saints are 4-point favorites outside.
January 2nd, 2017.
Minus 185. It's almost as bad as the Browns. Minus 185 on the money line. Plus 155 for the Giants. 50.5 is the total. What the fuck? Excuse my French, Sean.
Wow.
But
we don't allow cursing on the podcast.
I'd love to hear your take on this, but
Ryan,
the Saints, no one's seen them play outside yet this year. I don't care what the weather's like. What are you doing? I'm fired up right now. Don't play that fucking music.
All right. What else do you want to say, Ryan?
Tell me why
is it -4? Because Eli Manning's really bad.
Oh,
and the Giants defense isn't that good.
Forget the team they're playing. The Saints haven't played outside yet this year.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably a few points. It should be a pick. It shouldn't be -4. -4 is a crazily inflated line. And really it speaks to, this really should tell you what people think of the Texans, because if the Giants are getting no respect off that win off the Texans, I think it just shows.
But the Texans are getting respect in their game with 2.5.
I know that just shows you what good value there is for that Colts.
Really amazing. I mean, I understand. And honestly, when I wrote it down, I thought it would be 3. So it's not that crazy, but at the same time, New Orleans, I love that they've played 3 dome games. I love that aspect of this game. And I think for that reason, oh, and by the way, their defense is a hot fucking mess. I mean, the Giants will absolutely look bad on offense a little bit, but their defense is not bad. They're going to be able to slow down the run game.
No, I don't think so.
I like this matchup. I think Drew Brees outdoors. They're going to open the old Meadowlands door.
You keep saying outdoors. It's going to be 70.
They haven't played
degrees.
Come on, Sean. How many times have you seen the Saints go outside and just not look the same? Yeah. Just not look as perfect.
It's true.
I think they're going to have to score 35 to win this game, Sean, and I don't think they're going to get there.
Okay.
So give me the Giants.
Okay. Shocking.
Home dog. Who are you taking?
Shocking home dog.
You're not taking the Saints, are you?
You know what? I'll take the Giants. Man, I really don't see how the Giants win this game though. I got to go New Orleans -4 because I just I don't like Tej. I don't like the Giants coming off a win, even at home. The Giants are quietly a horrible home team, which you could make a case is as strong as New Orleans outside. I think if the Saints won 28-21, I would not be shocked. And actually, I'll predict that score 28-21. Saints.
Oh, nice.
Surprisingly, the under I think will be in play.
All right, Sean. Did you want to hit that music? Get to what you were going to get to.
Well, Ryan, I was just thinking, oh man, I got so many sweet picks. What am I going to do? How am I going to keep track of them all? Well, I'll tell you. I'm going to keep track of them in my BetQL pick tracker. What's that? Well, if you're new to the podcast, and clearly there are, because the downloads are through the roof, so there's some new listeners. They might not have heard about BetQL. BetQL, it's a free app. You can download it on your Apple or Android device. All you got to do is head over to betql.co. Download the only app you need to make smarter bets. BetQL is brought to you by the makers of RotoQL, the leading daily fantasy optimizer, trusted by over 100,000 DFS players. What does BetQL have? It's got it all. Line movement, see who the public's backing, their bets of the day. You can even calculate your return on investment. And of course, like I said, love that pick tracker. NFL, college, NHL, NBA, they got it all. Give them a follow on Twitter as well at BetQL, at BetQL app. But most importantly, BetQL.co. Give them a download, baby.
And you mentioned the outpouring of new listeners, Sean.
Yes.
Wanted to read a review.
Oh, okay.
Real quick. Everything missing from modern sports media. 5 stars.
Wow.
From Brocky T. These guys are not new phonies jumping on the gambling bandwagons, nor are they a bunch of nerds. 100% real gambling talk. All you need. Was this review helpful? Yes.
Well, someone didn't like the use of the sound effects, but I feel like our sound effect feedback is overwhelmingly positive. Right? He pointed out to the fact that the DMX dog barking sound effect was a bit too much, but maybe it's a generation thing, right? But I could listen to DMX do a dog barking sound all day.
I played it 5 straight times on the college show yesterday.
It's so fun. And coincidentally, the show I write on, MTV's Ridiculousness.
Oh, look at that. Self-plug. Nice.
There you go. Plugging the show. Actually, second highest rated show of all the shows, of all the episodes of MTV was Ridiculousness the past Sunday with Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Where I crowbarred in there you go. Crowbarred a category dedicated to Eagles fans called Philly Special. So check that out in the Kevin Hart episode. But coming back to the original thought of DMX dog barking, one of the guests we just taped the episode for, Swiss Beats, who was the guy who Rough Riders Anthem, which is just one of the all-time jams. I mean,
white guy rap jams.
Exactly.
Yep.
And he was talking about making that beat while all the Rough Riders were actually going around on their motorcycles. He was just hanging out in the studio creating that beat.
One of the few rap songs you'll hear at a Dave Matthews pregame in the parking lot of the Meadowlands.
It's a great reference. Yeah, that's the kind of hip hop you'll hear at Dave Matthews pregame.
DMX real popular amongst the white guys. Sunday Night Football, Sean. The Baltimore Ravens, they head to Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh somehow only -3, -170 on the money line, +145 for the Ravens. 50.5 is the total. Wow, Sean, the Ravens are coming off a great home game against a team that doesn't play well on the road, and Pittsburgh's coming home. This should be 3.5 or 4. Both ways, I feel like this needs to be shaded towards the home team. Give me Pittsburgh -3 all day. I know we used to take the points here, but not anymore. Flacco on the road off a win. Give me.
Yeah, it's a bad situation for for Baltimore winning. I know I picked the Ravens to win the division. That was kind of my sexy pick, but I don't know. They got to get Lamar Jackson in there. I'm granted this is all coming off a win, but I maybe Pittsburgh kind of righted the ship, and maybe they've kind of figured it out a little bit. Their defense played a little bit better, especially on the road. And Pittsburgh in prime time at home, they're going to be jacked for this game. I think they get right here. I think they can see 2-2, kind of leveling the storm that's happened in these early weeks. And I think Antonio Brown will have a big game.
I mean, I think the entire offense could have a big game. I think this Ravens defense it's not what I thought it was going to be. And we know how Big Ben does at home, and he's coming off a pretty good game. So Sean, Monday Night Football, Kansas City heads to Denver, where Kansas City is -5.5, -230 on the money line, +185 for the Broncos. 56 is the total. What a gauntlet. I mean, granted, coming to an LA is not exactly a tough road game, but having a road game against Pittsburgh and Denver, 2 of the first 4, tough spots for Kansas City, but I will be going against them for the 4th week in a row. Right, you got to take this. They haven't faced a pass rush. They haven't really faced a good defense at all. Right?
No, they haven't. And listen, it's not to take away anything, but it's just not sustainable. And I guess I make fun of guys like me who constantly pick against teams that are just red hot. But the Broncos at home dog, Monday night after a loss, Andy Reid prime time. It just feels like this is going to be a 3-point game, doesn't it? Am I crazy?
I mean, I think I want
this Broncos
to see.
Team is competitive, and really, how you slow down a high-powered offense is with a running game. And I think Philip Lindsay is going to be out, right?
Is he?
Well, he got ejected, so I don't know. Maybe he's
for fighting. It's football. They're going to let him play, right?
That's true. I thought they get like a 1-game suspension. Maybe not.
I don't see any.
Okay, here we go. He won't be suspended for week 3 ejection. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so they got Philip Lindsay and they got Royce Freeman. 2 guys are both pretty solid. I think that'll really help Case Keenum. And I think Case Keenum could put up some numbers against this Kansas City defense, which has been quietly suspect. Obviously, the big story out of Kansas City, and rightfully so, is how awesome their offense has looked and how well Mahomes has played. But the defense, even at home against this 49ers team, let up 28. I think if you let this Denver team put up 28 or 30, I think you're going to have trouble scoring 35 in Mile High. You just are.
Kansas City 28th in line yards on defense. Denver 7th on offense. I really like the matchup for the running game here. And on the flip side, guess who's not really good at run blocking? Kansas City. So I think this sets up beautifully for the pass rush of Von Miller to play a role. And like you said, Denver controls the clock. I think the defense, we've seen Kansas City's defense. They're not stopping anyone. So if Denver can hold Kansas City to under 28 points, I think Denver's a live dog. I understand the spread completely, but I absolutely love the matchup here for Denver. So I'm going to take Denver.
Yeah, it's a good matchup.
Plus
really.
the 5.5. Sean, of course, we have a couple teams on bye this week. No Cam Newton, no Alex Smith or Adrian Peterson. And one little nugget, Sean, I heard on VSiN, the Vegas stats and information.
Oh, come on. Boo.
I'm sorry, Sean. If you had teased the dogs exclusively, 43-5.
Wow.
43-5.
There you go.
That's amazing.
The dogs are solid. Ryan, it is time.
Happy birthday.
Oh, and just so everyone knows, we'll be back on with the pregame Periscope. No more traveling. We got you guys 9 a.m. kick. We'll get the sound figured out ahead of time, but tune in on Twitter at Gambling Podcast, and we'll be doing some late line movement, answering your questions, fantasy, gambling, whatever, live in studio. So check
maybe
that
make
out.
some bets.
Yeah, maybe make some bets on air.
Happy birthday.
Just play it one more time, because why not? Ryan, start things off as we always do with the lock, dog, and tease.
Pittsburgh -3.
Wow.
Yeah.
As your lock.
That's my lock.
Okay. Give us your dog.
I had to go with the gut, and it was my initial reaction when I looked at these games this week. It was the Rams back when it was 6, so I had to cross it off at 7.5, even though I still like them. It was Indy and it was Pittsburgh. Come on, dude, Joe Flacco on the road. Pittsburgh's gonna roll them. I really like this one for my dog. Give me Denver plus 185.
Woo.
Denver.
I had a feeling you were going there
In September. I like I feel like the price is fair for our listeners, for our investors, for our we can't call them customers because we don't charge them any money, Sean. But for our commune and for my teas, I got to get it right this week, Sean. I got to get it right. Give me the God.
You gonna put New England in it again?
Yeah, I am. Now, you know what? I just gave you a stat about the dog, so I will tease exclusively dogs this week. Give me Detroit up to 9 because Dallas isn't beating anyone by 10. Give me the Giants. Oh shit! Should I do the Giants?
Yeah,
No.
jinx it.
Oakland is not. Yeah, let's jinx it. New York Giants plus 10, and Trubisky not beating anyone by 10 either. Tampa plus 9.
Ooh,
A lot of key numbers.
a lot of ugly dogs there in your tees.
You know what? Take the Giants.
I guess
out.
just Giants and Tampa.
Take the Giants out.
No
I'm
confidence.
making a last second change.
Okay.
I don't give me Cleveland plus 9.
All right. Okay, my lock. Falcons -5. Feel pretty good about that. My dog is of course the Lions plus 130. My tease, Ryan. My tease. What do we do with this tease? There's a bunch of options that are interesting.
Really, you want a
compelling.
plus 130 on the dog?
Well, I don't like any of the bigger dogs strong enough. I mean, I could give you Jets at plus 300, but I don't know. I don't feel that awesome about it. Buffalo. All right, here's what we're gonna do with the tease. We'll take the Chargers down to 5. Nah, they'll fuck that up. Jesus. All right, Chargers down to 5.
No, wow.
Denver up
No
to,
key. What? Come on, dude. I can't let you go from 11 to 5.
Yeah, you're bad. Okay, I'll go Denver plus 11.5. First part of the tease. Then I'll go And then here's what I'll do. I'll go New England -1.
I
Going
just
back to
gave you
that
this
well.
stat.
What? Oh, about dogs? Yeah. Well, come on. When have I ever been keyed into stats? And then
The Rams is you. I'm gonna
fuck it. Jets plus 13
my
and a
God.
half.
That is gross.
That is an ugly tease.
How are the Rams not winning? Neither of us threw that in the tease.
Yeah. I'm scared to fuck with Thursday night.
999, Sean.
999. All right. Wrapping things up. Obviously, guys, love all the support for the podcast. Rate, review, share on iTunes. Hey, I'm not supposed to tell you guys this, but the iTunes charts, Ryan, you know what you can do that would, listen, you can just honestly
listen.
Did I say listen?
You said listen.
Sorry.
They're listening, Sean. It's implied.
You know what you can do? You can just keep hitting subscribe and unsubscribe, baby. And we're going to climb the charts and knock out the Ringer NFL show and my dream of dominance. And listen, if you do that a bunch of times, here's what's going to happen. We're going to climb the charts. We're going to get a ton of awesome new sponsors. And then we're going to use that cash to give away prizes, merch, swag.
Wait, isn't that when we start charging money for the podcast and go on Patreon?
Yes, we'll be on Patreon for our lead pipe locks are actually behind this Patreon wall.
How annoying.
No, all you gotta do is listen to the sponsors, support the show. Obviously, Mack Weldon. Seriously, give them a holler.
Yes.
MackWeldon.com, promo code SGP, 20% off, and the shit's really good. So give it a follow there. For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
Like I told you last week, Sean, the 0-2 Giants with the back against the wall on a second road game in 2 weeks got the win. Now they come home and they start making some magic.
Kramer, let it ride.
Welcome, everybody, to the MMQB Gambling Podcast. I am your host. Not really a host, I'm a co-host, but I have to intro, so I'll say host. Jimmy Traina, with my co-hosts, senior editor of MMQB, Gary Gramling, his brother, managing editor of the DRF Sports Forum, Scott Gramling, week 2 in the NFL. I went 2-1-1 in my best bets last week. Gentlemen, how'd you guys do?
3-1 for me, and Gare?
2-2.
Even Steven. We all, look, I mean, you always have to throw the caveats in. We all had the Giants, right? And if they just, what were they, about a foot short of that 2-point conversion, would have covered or would have pushed. We got it at 3.
And this is a gambling podcast, so we got to stick to the lines and all that. But NFL coaches still have no clue about when to go for 2 points. There was no way they should have went for 2 there.
We're so angry about that, Jimmy.
Because if you missed the 2, you're down 5. Jacksonville comes down, kicks a field goal. Now you're down 8. You have to get a touchdown to 2 points. Just kick the extra point. Go down 4. There's 10 minutes left in the game. NFL coach is still clueless with the 2-point.
I would have gone for 2. But I wouldn't have handed the ball to the guy who was out of breath after just running 80 yards or whatever it was for. I know it was an 80-yard touchdown, but the amount of yards he ran to get into the end zone, I don't think you just hand it to the guy in the 2-point conversion. Anyway, cost me from a perfect week, but hey, we're moving on.
So I had winners with the Rams and Bears, pushed with the Broncos, lost the Giants. What were your picks, Scott?
I had the Rams, Panthers. And as half
Chiefs.
the free world knows, I loved the Chiefs.
And Gary, what did you have last week?
Oh gosh, let's get the Cardinals out of the way and never speak of it again. I had the Panthers and the I lost the Giants too. I had the Panthers as a winner, and who's my other one? That was
Giants.
The Rams. Sorry, yes, the Rams. Yep.
If you go back into the archives, Gary, the 2 teams Gary was on in the preseason were Arizona and Detroit. But we'll skip that. We'll get right to the week 2 lines.
I'm jumping off one bandwagon, and it's not the Lions.
All right.
Sticking with the Lions for now.
That's a tease for the show. Speaking of the show, this is the MMQB Gambling Podcast. We're here every Friday. MMQB, though, their feed has podcasts every day of the week, except for Tuesday. You can check them out on themmqb.com, Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. So check out all of the NFL podcasts we have on SI.com throughout the week. And I, of course, have the SI Media podcast every Thursday. This week's guest is Gus Johnson, and it was a very good interview, so check all that out.
They're all very good interviews. You do a great
No,
job.
they're not all good. They're not all good. I rarely come away like, that was really good. Gus was really good, I have to say.
You pull some good guests, Jimmy.
I try.
You pull some good
I
guests.
try. So
Who doesn't
podcasts,
love talking to this guy?
so podcasts all over SI.com. Gary's on a bunch of them, and probably on all of them talking about the Cardinal Lion NFC title game that he expects this season.
Monday morning, I was just softly weeping about the Cardinals.
All right, week 1 in the books. Week 2 is here, and this is, I think, always the trickiest week of the betting season because
you said that last week, Jimmy.
No. Week 1, you like to lay low to see what the teams are doing. Week 2, though, is all about the overreaction to week 1.
The false confidence,
Yes. And you throw out everything you thought before week 1, all based on what you saw last week.
No, we throw out everything that Gary thought before week 1, and the rest of us move on.
I will
Sorry.
mention Arizona and Detroit about 5,000 times in the next 40 minutes. All right, let's get it going. Week 2 in the NFL, we started off with the Redskins. Blasted Gary's Arizona Cardinals last week, giving 6 points at home to the Colts. Big total here, 47.5. Gary, I'll let you get it rolling since I keep teasing you about Arizona and Detroit. Washington -6 versus Indy.
Yeah, not crazy about this one. I'm curious to see the game flow here. I mean, Alex Smith is a game flow dependent quarterback. If they have to play from behind at any point, they're going to be in some trouble. I mean, look, the Colts aren't a defensive juggernaut, but you put Andrew Luck out there against what's an interesting but sort of mismatched Redskins defense, I'd say. I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts jumped, maybe 10 points in the first quarter type of thing. I could see that scenario. Like I said, I'm not crazy about it, but with the 6-point spread, I'll take the Colts and the points.
And Adrian Peterson, reborn in Washington after week 1. There's an overreaction people I think are going to have. Scott, I'm sorry. What are your thoughts?
I'm glad we're starting with this game. I thought this was the hardest game on the card to pick. I'm not sure which way it'll go. Therefore, I will take the points. Don't love it. It's a game I'm staying away from. I think there's still too much uncertainty because of the amount of turnover for both teams in the offseason, and I do count Andrew Luck as turnover. I know he's been their quarterback for several years, but because he didn't play last year, let's see if he's for. That was kind of a fluky game a little bit to a degree with the Bengals last week. So I'm taking a wait-and-see approach with these two teams, staying away from it. If I had to take it, I'd take the Colts because of the points.
The line here is high with 6, but I thought the Colts were one of the worst teams in football before the season started on our podcast, which you can find in the archives where we did over-unders for the season. I said under 7.5 even if Andrew Luck is healthy. So I think the Redskins win the game, whether they cover. Like you guys, I don't know about the line. 6 is high, but I don't think the Colts are very good at all. So let's go on to the second game, and it's one of the better games of the week. Carolina, big win against the Cowboys at home last week. They visit the Falcons. Falcons at home giving 5.5, total 44.5. Scott, what do you got?
Love the Falcons. I absolutely love the Falcons in this one. Falcons, this is a head-to-head series that has been dominated by the home team in recent seasons, and you look at the Falcons, what they've done against the Panthers, 8-2 at home in the last 10 between these division rivals. 7 of those 8 victories have been by 7 or more points, so I'm not afraid of laying the points here. That includes victories by 15 and by 12 the last 2 seasons. I know I was all over the Panthers last week, and I was all over the Panthers last week because of the matchup, because the weakness of the Panthers is their secondary. We talked about it on the show last week. Dallas did not have the personnel to hurt the Panthers where they're most weak, which is in the secondary. Atlanta does. Julio Jones, last 6 games against the Panthers, has averaged 137.3 receiving yards. I think this is a case where the Falcons will hurt the weakness of the Panthers, which is the secondary. I think the Falcons look so bad in the Thursday night opener offensively. I think there's going to be some overreaction there to them. And I just think that having the extra 3 days to rest is going to be a key here. Now, I think naysayers might say Deion Jones is out, Keanu Neal is out. The defense is still fast, and I don't think Carolina has the kind of offense that can hurt Atlanta's defense. Atlanta's defense is still solid, not as solid as it was going into the season because they lost those 2 guys, but I love this game. I love the Panthers laying the points, and
the Falcons.
I'm sorry. I love the Falcons laying the points against the Panthers. Thanks for correcting me there. And I just think it's a great pick, and I also do like when it all matches up. Taking in week 2, an 0-1 team going against a 1-0 team, and this matches up here. Falcons are the better team. They perform better at home in recent years against the Panthers. There's just so many reasons to back the Falcons in this one.
Gary?
Yeah, I actually I had the Falcons until Deion Jones went down. I switched over to the Panthers.
So you're gonna say I had the Falcons until I just heard all that. Now I'm switching over.
No. I'm going Carolina here. Those injuries terrify me. Deion Jones and Keanu Neal. I mean, that is essentially the heart of your defense, especially your run defense with the undersized defensive line they have there. Panthers want to run the ball. We'll see. I mean, it was a lot of bells and whistles with the option game in week 1, and once that stuff's on tape, it becomes less effective. But yeah, on top of that, look, I think Matt Ryan is going to be fine. I think Thursday night was an aberration there, but I don't know. I don't know if they're ready to pick it up right now. I think the Falcons, maybe this is one of those games. Panthers grind it out a little bit. Maybe Falcons win by a field goal in the end. I thought the 5.5 point spread was too much for me, though.
I'm right there with you. I think that line is high, 5.5. Evenly matched teams here. Would I bet this game? You'll have to wait for the best bets, but I love getting 5.5 with a good Carolina team. And I'm at the point now where I might bet against the Falcons just based on their offensive coordinator because Steve Sarkisian is completely lost now in the red zone. He had a year to fix it and didn't fix it, as we saw in the opener against the Eagles.
You guys are going to regret this. I'm just telling you.
No, I didn't say I was betting it. All right. I'm just saying.
No, you're going to regret not betting it the way that you should be betting.
Story of my life.
I was just saying, the 2 guys the Falcons have replacing Jones and Neal, I mean, they are incredibly small. They are they're sub package all the time now. Panthers want to go big. They want to try and ram it down your throat. So
The line is
we'll
big.
see.
Yeah.
That's a tall order for Duke Riley and DeMonte Casey, who's a 180-pound strong safety.
All right, next game on the board. I don't know if our producer extraordinaire Harry can play the trumpets. But we have some sad news. The Nathan Peterman era is over in Buffalo. And Josh Allen will get the start.
It might just be on hiatus. I mean, we thought it was over after the first half of the Chargers game last year.
It was over before it started, believe me.
It should have been over after 5 interceptions in the first half last year against the Chargers on the road. Let's be honest.
So Allen gets the start in Buffalo. The Bills are getting 7.5 points from the visiting Chargers as they come across the country after getting spanked by the Chiefs. Total in this one is 43.5. Gary.
Yeah, I'm going Chargers in this one. They were all right when they had to come east last year in those early games. I mean, they. I want to pull it up real quick. Of course.
The one thing about coming, the one thing is, I think that used to be a bigger factor than it is because now, I mean, these guys are on planes that you can't even, or hotels basically. The travel isn't that bad.
Teams do a much much better job managing it than they used to do. And I've been to the league office where they build the schedule and they have all these signs all over the room about body clock and stuff like that. They came east. They beat the Giants for their first one last year. They hung with the Patriots. That was my favorite play of the year was Travis Benjamin running a punt into the end zone for a safety, which ended up costing them the cover in that game. And they took Jacksonville to overtime in a game that they botched on the special teams again, because that's what the Chargers do. In the end, look, I like Josh Allen as a prospect. I think he might be a superstar in 5 years. This Bills offense is not functional. They cannot do it. The only way they hang around in this game is something like fluky special teams plays, weird turnovers, stuff like that. Chargers will serve those up, but I'm not betting on that.
The Chargers played so poorly last week, and I mentioned it last week. Once again, Joey Bosa out. If they were playing a real team, that might concern me, but it is the Buffalo Bills and a rookie quarterback who I don't love as a prospect. But Scott, what do you got on this one?
Yeah, I don't like either side of this game. If I had to take it, I would take the Bills. It's just too many points to be laying on the road with a team I don't think is that good. And I won't go back into it. I went into it last week with the Chargers, and a mediocre team laying more than a touchdown on the road against any NFL team. And jury's still out on whether the Bills are an NFL team, but they do qualify as one at the moment. So. Staying away. If I had to take it, I'll take the Bills.
Total here, maybe it's me. Let's know what you guys think. 43.5 seems high for a team like Buffalo, which you don't expect to score many points at all. I mean, yes, I did say Bosa's out, but even how many points are the Bills going to put up this week?
If I had to bet, I'd take the over.
You would?
Yeah, I think it just feels to me like a very mistakey Keystone Cops type of games.
Six here and there.
And somebody's gonna be dropping punts and stuff like that. It's gonna be an ugly, sloppy game, but not in a defensive battle kind of way. No. I think in a more ineptness kind of way, and that often leads to overs because of a lot of mistakes where you should not be making mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, Allen is boom or bust. I think they score any touchdowns are going to be of the 40 or 50 yard variety, and it's probably going to be a lot of turnovers too.
All right, let's move on to a little division battle here. The Texans, 2-point favorites on the road at Tennessee. What a rough Sunday for about 87 hours in Miami. Total 44.5. Scott.
I'm going with the road favorite here. I am taking the Texans. It just, what a horrible first week for the Titans. I don't want to, I really try and stop myself from overreacting to the first week, but, not a lot of positives to take away from that game. And I just think when you look at the Texans and the kind of upside they have, I feel like, they've had the Titans' number in recent years, 11-3 against the spread in games played against Tennessee since the start of 2011. For those reasons, I'm leaning a little more than slightly toward the Texans here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going Texans. I'm going a little bit stronger than the Texans here. Like Scott said, terrible first week for the Titans, terrible summer for the Titans. A new coaching staff in there.
That's a good point.
Their entire defense has been. It's not the devastating, it's not the headlines of, torn ACL, all this stuff. They had 4 draft picks. Their first 2 draft picks were both hurt all summer. They can't get on the field. Morgan's banged up. Arakpo's banged up. They are severely running behind on defense with where that defense should be.
And on offense, they lose Delaney Walker last week.
Delaney Walker out. Delaney Walker is
top weapon.
He's the focal point of that offense. So yeah, they're
Which is a problem, but yeah, you're right.
Yes. They're in trouble here. Bill O'Brien's 7-4 against the spread versus division opponents on the road, and 4-0 as a road favorite as the Texans head coach. So I'll go Texans on this one. Nice little bounce back game for Houston as well after a sloppy start in New England.
This is probably the game, the game I have the least amount of feel for all week. I think the Texans are better. But, given 2 on the road here, who knows how Tennessee's going to react. Gary's right. Injuries on defense. Delaney Walker out. We'd tell you Houston -2 is the play, but not a game I don't love. This game is very interesting to me. I think it definitely will be one of the more fun games Sunday afternoon. Chiefs with that high-powered offense. And I know Scott's chomping at the bit, but I'm going to drag this out. Keep him waiting. The Chiefs, a juggernaut, visiting the Steelers, who come off that tie with the Browns. Steelers -4.5, big total, 53. I'll tell you right now, I'm betting the over. Scott, we'll let you get it rolling because the Chiefs are your team. Go ahead.
Chiefs are my team. I don't love this spot, though. I really don't like this spot. I feel like back-to-back road games is a tough spot. Since the start of 2009, a Week 2 road team that had to play on the road in Week 1, 6-24 straight up. And the average money line on that was less than +110. So those are, and the average final score, the point differential was 7 points. So the home team won by an average of 7 points in those 30 games. I think this is a Steeler team that is tough at home, and I think it's a tough spot for a young quarterback. So because of that, and you know how much I love the Chiefs, I'm leaning ever so slightly to the Steelers on this
That's got to hurt.
I was gonna say,
You know what? You have to look at it week in and week out, and I do love the Chiefs. I loved them last week. I love them in the division because they dominate the division. But I think this is a very tough spot for them, and I do feel like the Steelers are going to. That was kind of an aberration, that game against the Browns. I feel like the Steelers sort of packed it in after 50 minutes and the bad fumbles at the end and all that. The Steelers should be every bit as good as the Chiefs, and with the home field advantage, it's a tough game. I wouldn't play the game. If I had to, I would go with the Steelers.
Gary?
Yeah, I'm going Steelers. I will say the only thing that gave me pause is the Joe Hayden injury, and I wonder if that sort of limits what the Steelers are going to be able to do defensively. Andy Benoit and I talked about this on the Deep Dive podcast.
What day of the week? Plug it properly.
There you go. It's coming out. No, it already came out.
Today's
Friday. It's already out.
Check it out.
It's a fast week when you get into the season.
Yeah, it's to beat Mahomes right now, I think we have to do is it's disguise coverages, it's exotic blitzes and stuff like that. That's not what the Chargers do. That's not their defensive profile. That is what the Steelers can do. But with Hayden out, they can't cover. I mean, they can't cover Tyreek.
Sorry, you know how much I love Mahomes. I just love that. To beat Mahomes, it's so great because we're already talking about him like that. In his 2 previous NFL starts.
In the larger picture, that's how you beat any young quarterback.
I hear you.
You show him new stuff, it's not the speed of the game that gets to young quarterbacks. It's the new stuff they see that they don't see in the preseason because no one does it there.
I just love the level of respect that he is getting. I don't have my Mahomes jersey yet, but it'll be soon.
No, and I mean, you guys remember last year after Ben threw the 5 picks against Jacksonville, and everyone said Ben's done. Ben was not done. Right. If you didn't follow the rest of the season after that. Look, it's going to be a beautiful day in Pittsburgh. Steelers are going to roll up points here. I'm a little bit nervous about the over, though, Jimmy, because what the Steelers have done the last few times they played the Chiefs, they get in those 3 receiver packages. The Chiefs have that sort of small front that they put up, and then the Steelers just ram the run down their throat.
Listen, I think this is going to be up and down points, whether it's running, passing. The minus 4.5 for the Steelers, I don't have a feel for, but over 53, I think this game's got 37-28, 34. 30 written all over it.
It's the Mahomes factor. Say it, Jimmy. Mahomes factor.
Well, it's not just Mahomes. I mean, the Chiefs have weapons all over the place. I think the Chief defense stinks. I don't think the Steeler defense. Everyone thinks the Steelers have one of the top defenses in the NFL.
No.
I think we're going to see on Sunday that you're going to be able to move the ball on Pittsburgh. I see nothing but points in this game. I don't see many defensive stops in this one. So I like the over big number. And when you have a big number like that, it usually scares off some people. That's when you go over. Just a little tip for you there.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. This game here is very interesting. I'm going to contradict myself when I analyze this game, but the Jets are at home giving 3 points to the Dolphins. The total is 43.5. The reaction to the Jet win on Monday night, to me, is over the top for one reason. Darnold played great. You want to say the Jets have a quarterback, Darnold's the future. I have no problem with that. But then when you come out after the game and you say you knew every play that was coming, well, then you should blow out the team. So let's relax a little bit with how bad they beat the Lions. Having said that, I love the Jets -3. At home, rookie quarterback, crowd's going to be fired up. I don't think the Dolphins are any good. I mean, they beat a bad Titans team at home with, rain delays all over, big deal. You're only laying a field goal at home. That crowd's going to be insane. And the Jet defense is good. I love the Jets -3 in this game, although it's not based off of last week. Like I said, you don't want to go crazy off week 1. So it's not based off blowing out the Lions. And again, take the blowout of the Lions with a grain of salt because the Jets got 5 interceptions claiming they knew every play. So you're supposed to win that game. So I'm all over the Jets here. Scott?
I like the Jets here. I don't love the Jets. I don't like them as much as you here, Jimmy. I just... and for the reasons you pointed out, I don't know what to read into that first game. It's almost like once you start hearing we knew the plays, it's like, all right, I guess I have to wait to see if this team really is any good. I do think that they are a field goal better at home than the Dolphins, right. And for that reason.
For Darnold to play the way he did after that pick 6 on the road showed me something. Crowell ran the ball very well. I think he's been an underrated back his whole career. So I do like the offense there.
Don't get me wrong. Absolutely. Interestingly, there are some books, mostly offshore, that will open the line before the Monday night game is played.
Okay.
And it was opening there at Dolphins by 1.5.
Right. I remember. I saw Dolphins -1 initially on that.
Yeah. So, just the line is where it should be.
Yeah.
I think without question.
Yeah,
but
Dolphins
it's just
are
kind
not
of
a better
interesting.
team than the Jets.
Yeah.
So no, they're not. They're not, yeah. And I think we can leave it at that, yeah. And that's why I'm leaning Jets. No, I mean But that being said, I don't think anybody here would be shocked if we're sitting here next week and recounting a Jets Dolphins game that the Dolphins won 24-16.
No,
I'm not saying that's my prediction.
I was going to say, hopefully we won't be doing that. That would be a terrible podcast. I'm leaning Dolphins on this one, and not strongly. I was hoping this line would keep on growing in the Jets' favor. So the 3 is a little bit, that'll make me standoffish. But Adam Gase is my co-pilot in life. Gase is the kind of guy who keeps these designer plays in his back pocket, and if you're going to break any out. This is the game, like we talked about during the preseason. This is the battle for second place in the AFC. Excuse me, AFC East, not the AFC.
Sure, that'd be great if CBS fills it that way.
What a selling point!
It is.
What a selling point.
That's why we're doing a podcast about it next week.
The Bills, the division's so bad. We know the Patriots going to win, and the Bills are so shitty. Here's the game of the week to determine second place.
But these really are in the AFC. These are 2 wild card contenders.
Right.
So if you're Miami, you can steal this game on the road. Look, game and a half lead over the Jets. You're going to get him in Miami later. I think Gase is going to keep some stuff in his back pocket and break it out this week. But like I said, I wish it just crawled to 3.5, 4, 4.5, something like that.
That would be a little much. I like how you say Gase has these plays. His quarterback is still Ryan Tannehill. Just remember that.
It is. I'll just say this. My favorite Gase play was, you remember when they almost upset the Seahawks a couple of years ago early in the season?
Yeah, in Seattle.
I think it was the opener, actually.
It was week one.
It was. Gase ran this play for Kenny Stills that he had run variations of it over the course of his career. It was literally a play that he probably had in his back pocket for years and was going to break it out at a big moment, and he broke it out. Comes wide open, no one's near Kenny Stills, and he drops the ball.
And
What would have been a game-winning touchdown.
And this would be a big moment in second place in the FC.
This would. You never forget a game like this.
We've talked too much about Jets Dolphins.
I've already forgotten about
All right, here we go. This will be a week 2 overreaction game for sure. The Eagles giving 3 into Tampa Bay. Fitzpatrick has the total in this game and now at 44. Gary Gramley, what's going on here?
I actually, I hated this game. I'm leaning Bucks only because I think Foles is. I think it's part Foles is a pumpkin again. I don't want to overstate that. I think he's still he's fine. He's fine. They just don't have weapons right now. Bucks are better defensively. I know they gave up a lot of points last week in what was relative garbage time against obviously what's a very good offense. I think the Bucks hang around in this one though. As we see, I mean Fitzpatrick is. I'm actually. Some research scientists should create the quarterback playmaker scale, and it's going to be the Rodgers-Peterman scale. On one end you have Rodgers, the other end you have Peterman. These are the guys, the total boom or bust guys. Fitzpatrick obviously leans more Peterman for the most part, but like we saw last week, good Ryan Fitzpatrick, it can put up a ton of points. So I'm leaning Bucks. I'm not crazy about this. I think there's too much volatility on both sides here.
Scott?
I don't know, Gary, how you can say the Eagles don't have weapons in the passing game. Didn't Nelson Aguilar have like 22 catches for 24 yards in the season opener? I mean, it was I've never seen a passing game that's 2 yards in a cloud of dust, but that's what it was. I'm leaning slightly to the Eagles here. I just don't believe in the Bucks. I don't know what happened. I can't explain what happened week 1, but. Yeah, I normally look. I like road dogs early in the season. I cannot pull the trigger on the Bucks here, and I do think that the extra time, having the extra few days off, does make a difference. And I don't love the Eagles, but that's who I would
If we would have done this podcast 2 weeks ago,
yep,
and you would have seen Eagles -3 at Tampa Bay, you'd be all over it, all over it. Now, Ryan Fitzpatrick goes crazy in New Orleans, and it's oh, this could be close. No. Back down to earth for Ryan Fitzpatrick this week. 24-6 Eagles.
So you like the under there, huh?
I don't think the Bucks are going to score. The 48 points last week, you said it perfectly. Cannot be explained.
Correct.
No, listen, Mike Evans is a big-time receiver. Deshaun Jackson. They have weapons, but I feel like Gary disrespected the Eagles in his little summation there. Yeah, the offense is this. The Eagles won the Super Bowl. They came out week 1. Everyone was all over Atlanta. They came out and won that game. And I don't see them getting tripped up in Tampa Bay against Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's just me. I love this next game, not from a betting standpoint, but just to see what happens since we just talked about the Bucks. We go right into New Orleans. They get back-to-back home games to start the season. Saints giving 8.5 to the undefeated Cleveland Browns. Total here through the roof, 49. Scott, your thoughts on this AFC, NFC battle?
Yeah, I like a big bounce back game from the Saints. They're the far better team, and Jimmy, I'll kind of play off what you were just saying. If sitting here, 7 days ago, 8 days ago, and you said week 2 you'd be laying less than double digits with the Saints at home against the Browns. Do you like it? Yeah, I like it a lot. And if you can't explain it from a Buccaneers perspective, you can't explain what happened from a Saints perspective, you can explain that they dropped 40 points on a below-average defense, and the Browns were also below average defense, although Myles Garrett did look good in that swampy wind and rain.
He looked very good.
I like the Saints here. I just think you can't be afraid of the number, and you can't overreact to week 1. It's just not that many points for a team that was considered top 5 going into the season against a team that was considered bottom 5 going into the season. And it's not like the Browns really
I don't
showed
know
you
about the
ton.
bottom five. That bandwagon got filled up with the total went to 6.5 for the. I think.
From my perspective,
Yeah.
they're bottom 5.
Well,
that's all that matters, right, Jimmy? I mean, let's be honest.
that is true. But I do think, like you said, if you saw that line 2 weeks ago, you're salivating basically with the Saints at home, not even giving 10.
Sure.
Gary, what do you got?
Oh, I love the Saints in this one. If you ask the Saints defense as a team, what was the easiest game you had last year? It was when they went to Buffalo and faced Tyrod Taylor. They just said we're going to keep him in the pocket, make him beat us that way. He couldn't do it. That was of course 47-10, and you know why the Bills got that 10? Nathan Peterman leading the touchdown drive. That was
What, did someone drop a pick and a deflection?
No, everybody left the building.
I was going to say that's what got him to start the following week against Chargers. But this is the thing with the Browns. You kind of wondered, okay, new quarterback Tyrod is getting the start. Are they going to roll out some wacky option type stuff or something creative with Tyrod? They didn't. They had some creative stuff in the passing game, but they built the offense for Baker Mayfield clearly, and now. Why don't they play Baker Mayfield? That's another conversation about the questionable decision making of the of the people running the Cleveland Browns. But they don't have an offense that can beat the Saints defense. They're going to play it the same way the Bills played it a year ago, where they're going to try and win the turnover margin by such a great gap that you can get a 6-1 turnover advantage and then tie a team at home. Is Drew Brees going to throw 4 interceptions in this game? I guess that's a possibility, and then I could see the Browns hanging around. But if this line was 18.5, I'd still be intrigued by the Saints.
Bold statement. I'll just say this: I'm gonna go real hardcore X's and O's football analysis here.
Nice.
I will not bet this game. If I had to bet it, I'd bet the Browns only because everybody and their mother, like these two gentlemen, are betting the Saints and love the Saints. Gary's laying 18.5, so that means bet the Browns. All right, let's move on.
Take the Browns in the 18.5, but
and then take the 8.5 too.
Yeah.
Everyone in America will bet the Saints on Sunday, so you know what that means. The Rams coming off their Monday night victory in Oakland, laying 13. This is the biggest line of the week for all the people still in survivor pools after the Saints eliminated most human beings. Rams minus 13 at home against Gary's Super Bowl team, the Arizona Cardinals. The total is 45.5. We'll let Gary start with his Arizona team.
I just want to clarify on this for anyone who's listening for the first time here. Lions were my dark horse Super Bowl team, and I thought the Cardinals were gonna blow away their 4.5 win total. I am kind of rethinking that, but I am going Cardinals. I'm going Cardinals in this one as sticking around. Look, division opponents, Rams coming off the late Monday nighter.
I can see in your face you're struggling to even come up to the reasons why to pick the.
I will say, and we're going to talk about the Lions in a little bit, but the Cardinals I thought were the most disappointing team of Week 1. They didn't show up, and that is terrifying with the new coach there and all that. So I fear for my Cardinals win total life there. But division opponents, Rams playing the late Monday game. I think the Cardinals can stick around in this one. That's the nicest thing I can say about them. So that's why I'm taking the 13
I have a
points.
feeling if they don't stick around, we'll never hear you pick the Cardinals the rest of the season.
I'm taking the points here too. I don't have a ton to say on this. I just think it's a lot of points. Team coming off the late Monday night game, and I think there's some Week 1 overreaction a little bit to the spread here. I think that when you look at the way these teams, divisional rivals. I just think they're going to play a relatively tight game, not a 3-point game, but certainly a 7 or 10 point game is too many points.
The Rams are basically put up 50 here, but I'll get to that when we get to best bets. All right, here's one. We'll go right back to Gary's adopted teams this year. Mm-hmm. San Francisco 49ers, Jimmy G, rough Week 1 against the Vikings, -6 at home to the Lions. Total here, 47.5. Hopefully the Lions will not be letting Jimmy G know which players are coming. Gary?
I was going to say, Matthew Stafford, that's what it was with the plays. Matthew Stafford has some tells at the line of scrimmage. That's how the Jets caught on there. Let's see if the 49ers
Will they fix that this week?
But,
Matt Patricia get his pencil out of his ear and fix the play calls?
Yeah, that pencil on the laminated play sheet will have all the answers.
In all seriousness, 6 is, big
six,
a little bit of a large
6 is a
line.
big number. I'm going Detroit in this one. I'm going to tamp down the confidence in my Detroit Lions at this point, but I'm going Detroit in this one. When it comes down to it, 49ers banged up on offense. Jimmy was fine. He was not Jimmy of last year. He's missing a little bit high and wide a little bit. So we'll see. Right side of that line is banged up. Let's see if Marquise Goodwin is back. They're still figuring things out at running back. But I just want to point out, Lions, even though the Jets knew their plays, that was a 17-17 game 5 minutes into the third quarter. It fell apart when they had to start forcing the ball down the field, and then it turned into interceptions, and then it was Matt Castle time, and et cetera. But I'm going with Lions.
The definition of a silver lining. Scott, what do you got on this game?
I'm taking the Lions as well. I'm don't love it. Kind of like it. I'm sort of in between there. I think it's too many points. I don't think the Lions are as bad as they showed. And I just don't think at this point the 49ers should be favored by that many points. Let's see them, kind of in that role. So, don't love it. Kind of like it. And I do think the Lions are significantly better than they showed, which I know isn't saying much, but it is saying much when you're playing against 49ers and getting that much points.
Thanks for backing me up, brother.
Yeah, I hesitated to do so, but I got to go with you on that one.
All right, we go to the game of the week now, 425 CBS. Most of the country gets this one. The Jaguars coming off their victory against the Giants at home. They are getting a point from the New England Patriots, total 45.5. I would assume the boys here have plenty to say about this one. Scott, take it away.
I just don't see how, and Jimmy, I'm sort of echoing things you've said in recent weeks, right? Mm-hmm. Until proven otherwise, why would you try to bet against this quarterback-coach combination? And would I be shocked if the Jaguars win this game? No, I wouldn't be shocked if they win this game.
Line's only one.
Line's only one. But, I mean, you just look at what's happened in recent history, and I don't see any reason to believe strongly enough that the Patriots aren't going to find a way to win this game. If you want, some recent history numbers to back it up against AFC South opponents in last 21 games against AFC South opponents, they're 21-0.
Wow.
Straight up. 14-7 against the spread. Straight up is even more relevant in this one because it's pretty much a pick'em game. I just think that you look at the Patriots, they're better on the road than they are at home, if you can believe that. But it is true. I mean, they're 11-1 straight up, 9-3 against the spread away from home against AFC teams since the start of 16. There's just so many things pointing in that direction, and what's on the field as well. I just feel like they're going to stop the running game, and they're going to put the ball in Bortles' hands. They did it in the AFC title game last year, and the Jaguars could have and in some ways should have won that game. But I think they're going to take their chances with it again, and I think you'll see Bortles, he's not going to have the game of his life, and I think he did in the AFC title game, and they still didn't win it. So for all those reasons, I'm taking the Patriots here.
I wouldn't bet this game. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to enjoy it. I wouldn't bet it. The one thing I would say is I know I did this. I think last week in picking the Giants, I think I underestimated and disrespected the Jaguar defense a little bit. The Jaguar defense is very good.
That was a crummy day out, too, though.
Yeah. But that defense is legit. They played
totally
really well. And, this is a good test for them with New England coming in week 2. If they win this game, we know that, they're set up now for the rest of the season. But, again, I will rarely, if ever, bet against the Patriots. So I would stay away from this one. Gary?
And I'm going with the Jaguars lean here. I think this is their Super Bowl in week 2 here.
Right.
I just wonder how the sort of, that Patriots inversed offense with the running backs and the tight ends, with all the speed you have at linebacker in Jacksonville, I just don't think it's an ideal matchup. I think the Patriots might be out of weapons, not have enough on the outside to be able to beat this defense. So.
Yeah, they've already been bringing in receivers right after week 1, the Patriots. So they want to get Gronk some help on that offense. This game here, we probably won't spend a ton of time on. Denver -6 at home against the Raiders. Disastrous opener for John Gruden in Oakland. Big line though, 6. Gar, what do you got?
Yeah, I Oakland coming off the late Monday night game and going to the thin air, I think is a rough combination. Obviously, they have plenty of a changeover going on there too. They were a little bit banged up after Monday night, so I'm going Denver here. Not that's tough to have the -5.5 when you're a Case Keenum team, but yeah, I'm leaning Denver here.
I'll take the points. Yeah. I don't have a lot to say about it. I think Gary sort of segued in unintentionally there. I'm not laying that many points with Case Keenum in a team that's I'm still trying to figure out really what they have.
Yeah, and the total here is 46, which I think is pretty high, but Denver defense is good. It's an underplay for me too with Case Keenum, but again, we'll be watching Patriots-Jaguars at this time probably. Sunday night, NBC, Cowboys giving a field goal to the Giants. We all picked the Giants last week. Let's see who's going to jump off the bandwagon. We start with Scott.
I'm still on the bandwagon, and I'm really. It's more that I'm still on the anti-Cowboys bandwagon.
Yeah, you did well last week picking the Panthers.
To be quite honest, I just think that right now, the Giants are as good a team, if not better, than the Cowboys. The Cowboys have serious issues, and again, I normally don't read a lot into what happens in the preseason, but we started to see signs of it, and with that offensive line banged up, I just think that. It's just way too risky to take the Cowboys here. So I am, I like the Giants in this spot. Can't say I love them because there's still but I like the Giants.
Gary?
No, I complete agreement there. I'm going Giants on this one. Like we said, Giants, they can stop the run. They can't rush the passer. They can't necessarily cover for a long time, but it's not a problem when you're facing this Cowboys team.
Here we go again, because I like the Giants too. Like I said, I'm not going to let week 1 scare me. I think the Giants got did in by a very, very good defense.
Yeah.
The Cowboys don't have a very, very
Let's face
good
it,
defense.
Giants aren't good on the offensive line, but the Jaguars are unbelievably good on the defensive line. And
one thing, I thought Eli played well, and Giants usually do well in Dallas. That they don't get scared by going into Dallas, so I like the Giants here. And then the week wraps up Monday night with the Bears of the heartbreaker Sunday night, giving 3 points at home. Games in Chicago. They're giving 3 to the Seahawks. Total here 43.5. Gary.
Yeah, I'm actually, I think I'm going to be a lone wolf on this one. I have Seattle in this one. I'm just not buying on the Bears yet. I think they're still working on what they have defensively. Roquan Smith, all of a sudden, they tried to play him for the entire second half last week. It didn't work out so well. Khalil Mack is still being sort of eased in there. I always say Russell Wilson factor with the Seahawks. I mean, yes, they're not talented on offense, but Wilson can put up your 24, 27 points. I'm not buying what the Bears are doing offensively yet. And you saw it, everyone, if you were on Twitter Sunday night after the first quarter, this offense, it's the new age Bears, and then last 3 quarters. I think their last 8 drives
the old age Bears.
It was 4 punts and a turnover on downs. And
yeah, you have new coaches. I think they get a little tight. Lambeau Field, the Rodgers coming back. I will say, I know it's against the law. I hope I don't get arrested if there are any cops. I know it's against the law to say anything negative about Aaron Rodgers this week. If Kyle Fuller knows how to catch, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers lose and the Bears win. To me, that game became about Aaron Rodgers. It was not. That game was about Kyle Fuller losing the game for the Bears. Bears should have won. I love the Bears this week. I think at home, the fans should be fired up. Khalil Mack is there now. Trubisky did not play well in the second half. I agreed. I think, this is a home road thing for me. If they were on the road this week, the Bears, I'd be nervous. I think at home, though, it helps them tremendously. And they should be 1-0 if their DB did not basically give the game away. Scott,
you knew the moment that happened that the game was over.
No doubt about it. Absolutely.
And it's, you're right. I love the Bears here. I really do. And it's also, look, it's as much as I'm down on the Seahawks. And, I threw it out earlier that 6-24 record. I mentioned earlier when I was talking about the Chiefs and the Seahawks too, are back-to-back road games to start. Not a great road team to begin with. Pete Carroll, 2-11-1 against the spread in September games on the road. So I really do like the Bears a lot here. I think that it's a good matchup for them. I think it's a very weak defense for Seattle, and I think the Bears are going to win this one quite handily.
Now, before we get to our best bets, the one game we did not talk about this week is the Packers, because they're at home with the Vikings going into Lambeau. As of this taping, the Rodgers injury, we don't know if he's playing, not playing. There's no definitive word. I think he's playing. I've had sources tell me he's going to play. I'll just say this. Whether he plays or not, I'm picking the Vikings. Again, the Bears should have won that game last week. I was not impressed with the Packers. I think they're very limited on offense. I don't think their defense is great. I think the Vikings are the real deal. So whether he plays or not, I would bet the Vikings in this game. What do you guys thoughts on this one? We don't know what's going on, but
yeah, I was gonna say if Rodgers plays, I just wouldn't touch the game. I don't know what's going on with him.
If he plays, I don't think he's going to be 100%. I think the Vikings are the better team. I think we talked about in the preseason. I think that I don't know if the Packers are a top 25 NFL team from player number 2 to player number 53.
I agree.
And because of that, I like the Vikings here. I mean, yeah, we have to see what the line is, but I think talking about it now, yeah, Vikings.
All right, Gary, how many best bets do you have here in week 2 of the NFL?
So I got 3. I got the Saints. Sometimes it's that easy. I have the Steelers and I have the Texans.
Right, so Saints minus 8.5, Texans minus 2.
Minus 2 at Tennessee, and then Steelers minus, what do we have at? Minus 4.5. Yeah, minus 4.5 at home against the Chiefs.
So 3 favorites for Gary. Scott, your best bets.
Love the Falcons. And I love the Bears. I would say that those are the ones I'm most confident about.
So Falcons minus 5.5 at home against Carolina, and the Bears minus 3 at home against the Seahawks.
That's correct.
Those are your 2 best bets.
Those are the 2 I'm going with.
I got a slew this week, which is ridiculous for week 2. But I love the Jets minus 3. I love the Jets minus 3 at home against the Dolphins. Eagles minus 3 on the road at Tampa Bay. Sorry, Ryan Fitzpatrick, not happening again. Love the Rams minus 13 against the Cardinals. That's got 38-10 written all over it. And I love the Bears minus the 3 against the Seahawks. So those are our best bets for week 2. And enjoy the games. New England, Jacksonville, 4:25 Sunday. I'm sure everyone will be tuned in. And decent primetime games with Giants, Dallas, and Seahawks, Bears. We will see you next week right here on the MMQB Gambling Podcast.